What a beautiful day. It's like we're in heaven. Only it's not heaven, is it? It's the darkness. Sometimes it hides in our very hearts. We are here to make the earth as much like heaven as possible. Who'd like to go first? You're a brave man, offering your soul for judgment, wanting to serve our goddess even before she wakes. I judge you in Amit's name with but a fraction of her power. This is the face of a good man.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. 'Cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do whatever I please. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. I don't tell you what to say. Don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young.
Okay. Hey, Star Mama.
Hey, how are you?
Oh my gosh. I'm what's a good word? Let's see.
Did you get your coffee?
Flabbergasted.
Did you get your coffee?
I did, and I
Okay.
didn't spill it, so it's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was speaking with a friend of mine who is Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
and I was asking him all sorts of questions because I'm not Catholic, and but I know enough. You know what I mean? It's like that. I'm
Right.
going, hey, wait a minute. Why on earth would we be finding out nearly 4 years later that this devout Catholic is buried in a Protestant cemetery? And he goes, oh, are you talking about the Watts case?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He said that would be highly unusual to have a Catholic who had a Catholic funeral be buried in a, he thinks that would be highly unusual.
It was a Catholic funeral, as best that I've been able to tell. I mean, that's what it looks like, you know. I think it was St. Roma Catholic Church there.
So then the question is, why was she buried in a Presbyterian or in a Protestant cemetery?
Well, I don't know that she was actually Catholic. I know her mother was, but I didn't know she was. because I never heard her even speak of anything doing with the Catholic religion or anything. I mean, they never had the kids baptized or anything that I know of. Surely she would have put that up, in her lives. I don't see how she would have not
So
posted that
it
stuff.
might be unusual that the Catholic Church even had the funerals then.
I think that they may have just done that out of respect to her mother. I don't know, or the situation, or maybe they're not even aware of all the information that's come out since. It might have changed
Or
if
or
everything had come to surface,
or
first.
do they even know the family?
That I don't know either. I have no
Maybe
idea.
maybe they offered because of the tragedy. Maybe they
It could
offered.
have been. It could very well been. Yes, that's very possible.
But it seems odd to me that the the storyline for almost 4 years is Catholic, 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 Catholic,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden Dave goes to North Carolina nearly 4 years later, and he says, "Yeah, the Protestant or the Presbyterian Church owns the property," and I'm like, "What?
Hmm.
What? Like in 4 years, nobody ever mentioned that?"
Mm.
I mean,
I thought of another theory on it, but mm, it may have to do with the other side of how close they're very in proximity to somebody's home. I got to thinking about that after we got done talking. Just a thought. I don't
like
know.
like kind of as a you better keep your mouth shut kind of thing,
Yeah, what I'm thinking.
like intimidation or something.
Yeah, for both of them. I think so. Because they sure never asked them any questions, did they? Nothing. Yeah, very strange. Um, but what isn't about this case? There's so many strange things.
Exactly. Joe Mama says it could be that if Christopher Watt's wife wasn't a baptized Catholic, she was buried in the Presbyterian cemetery, even though she had a Catholic funeral. I think that might sum it up right there.
Right.
And if she
Hmm.
was not a baptized Catholic, then why have we had 4 years of hearing what devout Catholics?
Right.
You know,
Well, again, I never heard her mention once about them attending a church, about the girls being baptized in a church, anything to do with that. And wouldn't you think that if she was such a devout Catholic, that CW, when they got married, would have been married in a Catholic church and he would have gone and took classes? I mean, I have a lot of Catholics in my family. That's what they do. Or generally, their marriage is not recognized by the Catholic Church. You
well,
know,
and think about this too. Did they get married in the Catholic Church? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because I don't think she was. I don't think she was a baptized Catholic. I really don't think
And
she
in order
was.
to get married in the Catholic Church, she would have had to have had her first marriage annulled, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about. Yes, back then, yeah, probably so. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I forgot about that.
So this whole
Wow.
thing about how devout of a Catholic she must have been, it's another time almost 4 years later. That's the part that's just got me going, here we go again.
And why are certain ones referring to it as a memorial?
Yes, I asked my friend that too, and he said that he doesn't think that's anything startling at all. He said that some people simply do call the monument a memorial.
Okay.
He thinks that the police officer probably just said memorial as opposed to monument.
Okay. I
He
can
said that's why
understand that. Yeah.
he said that's why some of the companies are called XYZ Memorial
Mm-hmm.
that make the monuments.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. But why are so many strange things? I mean, why are they getting all hostile again towards the true crime community? I don't get it. Are we touching? I mean, are we hitting some sores, opening some wounds? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not worried about anything. My hands are clean, but I mean, is there certain people whose hands aren't, and it's starting to bother them more so than if nobody was talking about it at all? I
Well,
don't
the
know.
part that I don't understand is in reading the post from this morning,
Hmm.
there have been claims over and over again that they're being evidently flooded with threats and harassment. I think now he's saying on a weekly basis.
Well,
When?
I've never seen anybody post anything of verification. They didn't when uh, several of us asked for it on another channel. We didn't get any responses. And it was amazing, too, that they pulled up a video where her dad was standing at the end of the driveway and they asked him that. And he said, no, not personally. He hadn't been attacked personally. So who has been attacked? You know?
And here's the other part that has a certain irony to it all. They have to know, they have to have noticed, and we know that they've noticed because they've been cheering on the scumbag attackers.
Mhm.
You know, there was the avocado, there was Alice Cooper, there was the one that said, meet me in the alley. All three
Right.
of them claim close ties to the family, and all three of
Right.
them have had direct contact with the family. There was another one, the one who doxed my employer and told everybody to call my employer, okay, and tell them
Mhm.
bad things about me, to complain about me. That same profile was used, the one who posted about how he's being harassed, was used to post on those channels and to actually applaud and congratulate these scumbag attackers who have been attacking innocent people. So the irony of it all is if you want to stand up there and say you're against harassment, then
Mhm.
how can you applaud harassment?
Right.
Right?
When you're part of the harassment, you can't
Yep.
complain about it, you know?
And
And
like you said your hands are clean, my hands are clean too. I have never harassed anybody.
And we don't go and bother any of these channels. I never have. I don't
Exactly.
bother anybody. I leave, stay to myself. Every once in a while, yeah, do I maybe post a response to something that was said here lately? Yeah, but I'm not doing that anymore either because it doesn't do any good because they're going to continue to drag you no matter what you do. So, if that makes them
Exactly.
happy and gives them something to do, so be it.
So he goes on and on and on always about how justice is whatever and the law and whatever. It's like, okay, if there needs to be justice and the law and whatever, then maybe the law and justice need to start checking into all the harassment you and I have had to put up with.
Right. And they
You know
need
what
to
I'm
get
saying?
somebody that can correct their spelling and stuff for them too because it's horrible,
Well, that leads to another issue.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Sure does, because do you notice how the same words are misspelled?
Yeah.
And I've noticed lately too that when people are posting their crap comments trying to be intimidating and trying to be, harassing us on the channel,
Hmm.
they don't even know how to spell Christopher Watt's wife's name.
Exactly.
That was happening in 2018 too. They're starting at square one.
I think they got some newbies they're kind of trying to bring into it because I really think, like I said, I only think there's a handful of them that's got multiple profiles. Um,
And then they have just two or three writers saying, here, post this.
yeah, put
Yeah.
this in there. And the way they're getting caught is because they don't know how to spell. They don't know how to spell. And then they're using that same stuff. I'm coming for you. I got people watching you. It's the same
Same.
dialogue, no matter who they
Yes,
attack. It's the same stuff. Yeah.
that's exactly
Mhm.
right. Yeah, you and I both received text messages that said that they're watching us.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Hmm. Oh, mine
Like,
was in an email, and I still have those. Yeah, I got a
mine was,
lot of threats. They want to talk about threats. Oh, I could do plenty with those threats.
well, and that goes back to the irony. If they want to stand firm against harassment, number one, are they really being harassed? I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence of it.
And
Number two,
there was a bunch of misspelling in that too. So again, I'm
I
questioning where
know
is this
that
coming from? Yeah.
I know there are many of us who are absolutely innocent people in any of this garbage that's been going on YouTube. Absolutely innocent.
Hmm.
We are being harmed. We are being harassed. We are being slandered and defamed and libeled. And they are intentionally and maliciously attempting to harm us and our families. They're doxing our grandchildren, our children, our employers, our homes. When that one scumbag just a few days back or a week ago or whatever started in about where I live,
Hmm.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you
Trying to put stuff information out there without directly giving an address. That's what they're trying
Well,
to
and
do.
they're
That's
trying
what
to
they're
be
trying to do.
intimidating. They're trying to
Oh
be all
yeah.
big and bad and tough, and they have no clue how big and unbad and untough they are. It's ridiculous. That's where I just, turn the corner and go. Like when I saw Set the Record Straight's post, I just
Yeah.
thought, oh man, I'm so glad he's there.
Right. No kidding.
That just gave me. And then did you see Lil Mama's comments? Oh my gosh, she was just nailing one comment after another.
Oh
Boom,
yeah,
boom.
she wasn't letting up. Yeah.
That
But
was
see,
funny.
those are people that are in this for the true crime, and they don't feel they're not going to fall for the intimidation these people are trying to do anymore. They've had it. We've had 4 years of it. And
Right.
they think that they're going to keep, apparently the people they've got out here trying to scare us, they're not doing it. They haven't got rid of us yet. So they're failing. So they're trying to get some newbies to come in, maybe 2 or 3, and try to offer them something. What, I have no idea. But to
Probably
try to
the
get
ones
people out of here, Yeah.
probably the ones who have already wasted 4 years of their life trying to scare us. They're
Mhm.
probably like, I'm not touching it. I'm done.
Right.
And then the new ones are like, oh yeah, I can build my channel.
But we're not going anyplace. They don't understand that we're not doing anything wrong. We're not breaking any laws compared to all the laws that they've had people break.
And you know what else? We're not evil, we're not vile, we're not
No.
ugly, we're not lazy, we're not losers, we're not all the other crap they call us. It's
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting when a certain someone tells us to get a life.
Right. And now more fundraisers and stuff. Really, honestly, really gonna go
Well,
there again. Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole nother issue because when I wrote out that response to my opinion, it's basically my gut reaction to reading some of that.
hmm
And all I did was I started to write about, I think the heading was why we need the money or something,
Right.
or why are we whatever. And I said, that's a really good question. And then I was just going to list off 1 or 2 fundraisers. And then I kept going. It's like, wait a minute. What about the victim fund? What about the MLM's money? What about
hmm
the Outback Steakhouse holding a fundraiser and donating money? How many fundraisers do people need?
Right. Well, there's been a lot of them that a lot of people probably aren't even aware of. That raise money here and there. And I'm not talking about 100 here or 100 there. I'm talking about thousands of dollars. So yeah.
Well, it was within 1 or 2 weeks that there was over $100,000.
hmm
So why was there ever a request made to the victims fund to pay for the funerals?
I don't
Because
know.
that victims fund says right on its own website that it's supposed to be the fund of last resort.
Yeah, it is. It's supposed to be, I mean, those are things that they offer to usually families that aren't getting, there's been nothing raised. They don't have any money. Nothing, no way of making any arrangements for it. It's very,
Well, I don't even know so much funerals. I think of the young parent who needs to provide a new home for their child after they've escaped an abusive relationship. That money needs to be available to help people who are themselves victims of violent crimes, right? Which, I'm all for it if the money's there and if whatever to help people, that's great. But it's supposed to be the fund of last resort. That fundraiser was within a week or 2. That life insurance would have paid out very, very quickly.
well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there was fundraisers started within 2 days by some of the women in the MLM. They were started right away within 2 days, 48 hours.
So
hmm
why would the fund of last
Bracelet,
resort?
bracelets being made and stuff. Yeah. 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 Well, I haven't figured that one out yet.
I'm just flipping through the comments. Sorry. I took a drink of coffee and I'm just lazily looking through the comments. I'm supposed to be talking. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's frustrating. It is. I'm actually disgusted by so much of it because, a lot of us here in this true crime community, we have experience in the true crime community. We know how these discussions go on true crime cases. Can you think of any case at all where people have been getting attacked in the true crime community, where we've had to be called terrible names, where, I actually had my channel shut down by the Scumbag Attackers filing false reports to YouTube. And my channel was down for over 3 months until YouTube reviewed everything and allowed me access again. Never before the case of Christopher Watts has there been so much hatred and harassment and threats, any of this shit. It doesn't go on. True crimers discuss true crime cases. We're not discussing this case in any different way than we discuss every other case. So are we just not allowed to discuss this one case? Is that it? We're supposed to just go, oh, we better just be too afraid to discuss this case, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think,
that's
didn't you and Set the Records channels go down within just a couple of weeks of each other? If I remember.
I can't remember, because remember that time when they were attacking him, they somehow, I'm not sure if my computer crashed.
Oh, that was the last time. I'm talking about the first time your channel went down, and his went down. And then I think after that happened, he went in and shut everything down for a while, because he said he had like 8 strikes or something on him during that time. It was some stupid stuff.
I can't remember, but I know that when they shut me down, I'll tell you what I noticed. They got worse. Their big whine fest was that they wanted me to just stop, bashing a dead woman, which is bullshit. I've never bashed a dead woman.
No, we haven't done that.
And when even before that, I removed all videos, and I moved on to other cases. When I did, they got worse.
Of course.
They got worse. And that's when the scumbag posted the video saying to call my employer and doxed my employer.
Yeah.
So if they're going to get worse when I remove all the videos, then I guess I'll go ahead and talk about whatever case I want to talk about.
Might as well.
When they shut down my channel, during that 3 months before YouTube put me back up, they got worse.
Yeah.
So they can't tell me that they want our channels to go away, because when our channels go away, they think they can attack us even worse.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And this is the only case that we've got attacked. Anybody gets attacked over. Look at all the other cases that's been discussed for years. None of those families come in and say a word. They don't care.
Exactly.
And some of those were some pretty horrendous cases too. I mean, yeah. I mean, some of those were deep cases too. And they act like they're the only ones that's gone through any tragedies. It's quit making yourself a victim after 4 years. You guys have got to get it together and get out of the slump they're in, or whatever. I don't know what it is they're going through, but they need to do something in a different direction, because I don't know how they can ever come out with anything positive around them when they stay in the slump for all this time. I mean, you have to move on. Other people do. It's healing for you. Do you need to forget? No, but they take everything so personal. Get off of YouTube. Stop watching it.
It's like I said in my comment this morning. If they choose, or they shouldn't be actually choosing to internalize our discussions, they shouldn't be watching our discussions. They shouldn't even care about our discussions. We are true crimers. We're going to discuss this case. Don't listen. If you don't want to discuss it, don't discuss it. Don't listen. Don't pay attention. In fact, stay away from us. Leave us alone.
Yep. Stop talking about the case. It's closed. Well, that's what we talk about, is closed cases.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So which way do you want it? I mean, they gripe about everything, you can talk about anything as you want as long as you stick to facts. Well, what if the facts are not facts? Well,
and the whole idea of what the facts are, everybody wants to point to the discovery and say those are the facts.
Right.
No. If you're going to read the discovery and come up with your opinion, then that's your opinion on the facts of the discovery, right?
Exactly.
They're not reciting facts. They're sharing their opinions on what they read as facts. There's a difference.
Big difference.
I think the way it works is that if they agree with your opinion, then they call it a fact. If they
Yeah.
don't agree with your opinion, then you're just an old hackling
Ag.
Mrs. Coven,
Yeah.
Mensa's daughter. You're just like, you're just nothing but evil
Hmm.
and vile and all that other stuff. And karma's going to get you. Have you noticed that one? Karma's all over
Oh,
the place.
yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
whatever.
I
I think,
got news. They better be careful. Karma can come at them too. They need to be. My hands aren't dirty, so I have nothing to worry about. I'm not doing anything wrong.
well, and the thing that I've always objected to with all the karma crap that everyone's saying, and I'm not saying whether or not believing in karma is cool or not, whatever, everyone's got a right to their own opinion. But in this particular case, we've been seeing that for 4 years. Karma's going to go, karma knows their address. Karma's, and it's like, I think this is the last true crime case that anyone should be bringing up karma.
Right.
Because if we're going to talk about karma with the case of Christopher Watts, then should we maybe possibly, I don't know, should we ask the question, what did Bella and Cece ever do?
Yeah. What did they do? That should be everybody's concern instead of all this other stuff. And that should be that family's concern. So what if we do find something that opens a different door to something? Shouldn't they be thankful for that? I think they
Well,
should be.
I
Unless they're hiding something,
I think they should just ignore us, quite frankly.
They should, but if they want a bellyache. And I mean, why? I don't understand why seal everything, why gripe about everything we say or do. It doesn't matter what direction we go in. They don't want us going there. Unless we put her on a pedestal, they don't want us talking about it. And talk about him like he's the lowest thing on that ever walked the earth. That's what they want. And I'm just not going to do that because I just don't agree with everything out there. And there's a lot of stuff that, hey, she was not perfect by any means. She had some issues. And
Well, I have two prongs to my approach. One is I want to stand firm for our right to discuss true crime cases without being harassed and threatened and doxxed and slandered and defamed.
right.
And the other prong is there are two children who were murdered. And we had damn well better care as a society about what happened to Bella and Cece.
Yeah. And
So
why weren't they removed from that situation a lot sooner? That's what I want to know. The warning signs were there.
Exactly. If a bunch of cackling hens can watch 3 videos and figure out they should have been removed, then where were the professionals? Right? Where were the professionals who were in place with jurisdiction to remove those children?
Exactly.
Why weren't they removed sooner? We've had different people, one of them a relative, saying that court case was to have the parental ties severed.
Yes.
Well, what were they going to do? Announce it? Why the hell didn't they come in and get those girls to safety and then talk about it?
That's what should have been done, I feel, instead of, it looked like to me the approach they were going was the wrong way to be going anyway. They waited too long and they put way too much information out there, she lost everything. She had nothing left. That's the last thing she had, was to hold on to him, and she wasn't holding on to him anymore. So what she have left? Nothing. I mean,
I think she expected him to choose her over the girls.
Oh, I do too. I
think she went into a rage-filled tantrum when she figured out that she was getting moved out that day.
I agree with you. Yeah. I'm just not sure. Like I said, I'm not even sure now when she actually showed back up. I'm kind of concerned about that because I know that video is fake. They show of her getting home. That's just not so. That's already been bumped and out the door. That there's no way that could be. And
that video wasn't even released with anything at all until people in the true crime community started to say, surely they would have had video from her arriving home.
Exactly.
And as soon as we said it enough times, then finally they released that. It's like,
oh yeah. Why take so long to release it if they have need to scrub stuff from it, And I don't think that next door neighbor could be trusted anyway. Because how did he find out so fast that she was a diabetic? That didn't even make sense. Supposedly a diabetic. Why would he even throw that out there? There's some things that people need to pay close attention to that don't make sense.
Exactly. And if you want to hire a gang of punks or thugs or whatever, to try
Mhm.
to scare a bunch of women into silence, and men too. They were trying to scare men into silence too.
Oh yeah.
If that's what you want to do, is hire a bunch of punks to say, "Ooh, oh, I was going to rattle off a few of the threats, and I don't even want to go there."
Right.
But
Well, everybody should know them by now anyway. You know, we put it out there enough, and people have really have gone in and seen enough threats that people have made in videos towards you, especially. I mean, it's just horrible
it's
that
disgusting.
it
It
is.
is so disgusting.
They
And you
told
know,
on themselves. I mean, they did. Yeah.
if what you want to do is hire a gang of thug, punk, criminal assholes, psychos, whatever, scumbag attackers, to
Hmm.
try to control or take control of any discussion on a true crime case, there's a better way, really, a better way than putting a line of psychos right out front, you know?
Exactly.
Like, number one, learn how to spell. Number two, quit confusing all of your fake profiles, right?
Right. Yeah.
Number three, like, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be so damn obvious. Maybe you
Right.
should actually pretend like you're a person discussing the case and you have a different opinion. That would
Right.
be that would be a way to try to influence others, right? Would be to
Right.
just take part in the discussion and share your own opinion if you have a different opinion, right? No,
Right.
they can't be that cerebral.
I would like to know where all the airport footage is too, from about 3 airports. I'd love to see that.
Three of them? I only think of two. What's the third? Oh, Arizona.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Hmm. Because I flew on a delayed flight coming back from my brother's funeral with Southwest Airlines, and they had to call the flight we was due to leave on that was supposed to arrive there to get us to bring us back home was delayed because of weather conditions. They had to get a crew together, so it was about a 4 to 5 hour difference. Uh, they did not check our boarding passes. I'm telling you, they were not checked. They didn't check them. So what if nobody's boarding pass was checked then? You know, just saying.
Or what if they just switched driver's license and lied?
Well, they could have done that, or somebody could, and they could have had identify, or the boarding pass could have been somebody different. Maybe had um, the phone, purse, and everything, and maybe it wasn't even her on there at all. We don't know that. I haven't seen anybody that can prove that. Nothing. There's no proof come out about that at all. And I think it's important if they want to bellyache about everything that we're discussing, well, then give us some more information so we stop discussing it. Why, just like the check the knives, nobody will even answer why she asked that question. Have you noticed that? That's just totally ignored. Why?
Well, and when they call us liars, I say, tell me one lie. Just tell me one lie. I've been saying this for years.
Hmm.
Tell me one lie that we've ever said. And nobody has an answer because we don't lie.
Right. And I mean, videos speak for themselves, especially when it's in that person's own words. And that's the only thing that I've gone in there and looked and reviewed and come to my own conclusions about a lot of things. And to me, um, how can you dispute somebody's own words out of their mouth, their own actions, their own behavior? You know, I mean,
No matter what anybody says, all you have to do is see the look of sadness and fear in little Bella's eyes, and you know there's more to this story.
exactly, a lot more. And I don't know if people need to keep in mind too, those clothes that those girls wore to that birthday party are still unaccounted for, as far as I can find out. I've not been able to find any accountability for those clothing at all. Nothing. Nothing. Odd, I think.
So isn't it interesting too that we have three bodies that were examined and the autopsy reports were released, in the fact package
Right.
that everyone wants to point to and say, those are the facts. They were healthy.
Hmm.
Where is our discussion? I mean, we're having it, but where is everyone else, leaving that totally in the closet, right?
Exactly.
They
Don't
weren't
want to
sick.
touch those at all. Not
They
at
were
all.
not sick. And that
Hmm.
should be pissing off everybody.
Hmm.
that there's evidence that they were not sick. So
Well, and they should be upset too that she was on there saying that an MLM product was a cure for her illnesses when she didn't even have those illnesses, or at least some of them that we know she did not have. And apparently, from the autopsy, she showed no sign of anything, and she should have had some kind of damage to some. If she had all those illnesses, there should have been some damage or signs to point to her internal organs suffering from those kind of problems.
those autopsies said healthy.
Yeah. And she would not have spent as much time out in the sun as she spent if she had lupus. You just don't do that. That's a no.
Well, she was healthy.
Yeah. Well, she was, as far as I'm concerned, you know?
Well, I mean, the autopsy's the facts.
Yeah.
And so she was healthy. So I guess then that would, the next step to us being told by the fact package that she's healthy would be then she's a liar.
Yeah. I think that the reason why she was even using that product was to keep her weight down, because I think she did have a problem with her weight fluctuating quite a bit. So that's what I think.
Cindy said she was super heavy when she met her.
Yeah. Well, you can tell that in those pictures that were put up when they were dating and stuff. I mean, she looked pretty heavy even in her face and stuff.
Well, she has that pear shape like Alice.
Yeah. 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 But I mean, I just don't understand why. What does it hurt for him to be honest about her having? So what if she did have problems? Why not just say she did? I mean, people are going to be sympathetic to that fact too, that, you know, personality disorders, mental issues. I mean, that's something that nobody can control. The only thing I think that people would be looking maybe bad at them is the fact, why did you leave those children in that environment? Any of the family members, why? Why were you so scared to do anything to move those children out of that home, including CW too? I mean, both sides of the family. I'm neighbors, anybody, all her supposed friends. You all knew how she acted. Why didn't she do anything? You know, those kids had nobody to speak on their behalf or protect them. Nobody.
A woman claiming that she's spotting and cramping and she hasn't been to see her doctor.
Right.
Why are all of these people lining up to pretend like she was such a wonderful mother if she was absolutely ignoring the health of the fetus?
And
your connection's clicking in and out.
Maybe my.
Yeah, you're still clicking in and out.
Okay, let me check something. Okay, hold on.
Yep. Jane is saying that she never had to order a neck brace off of Amazon and make a video pretending like it was something she had to wear. And of course, the timing for Paula's connection is not good because I'm sitting here eating. Can you tell I'm talking with my mouth full? I agree, Nana Stella. I agree. I think that can really be the only explanation. If somebody says check the knives, you know, like I always say, check the knives for what? And why would that even come into the discussion unless there was a history of self-harm? Have you guys noticed too that they're trying to act like we named them the Shiners? Like Boo-hoo, right? No, they chose that name themselves. They called themselves Shiners. And yeah, we laughed at them. So what? Big deal. When we found out that there was another Shannon who was actually a nurse who passed away at a young age, and her family held an annual fundraiser, and their slogan was Shine Like Shannon. And they raised money to help young people who wanted to become nurses financially. When we found out that they had already been using the slogan, Shine Like Shannon, for years, I think 4 or 5 years, and then the case of Christopher Watts started having that little slogan, I'm sorry, but that first family didn't deserve that. And you want to know what else I think is really troublesome? We've watched for nearly 4 years while Cindy and Ronnie Watts are absolutely torn apart, belittled, discredited, ridiculed. That's bullshit. Ronnie and Cindy Watts deserve to not be harassed. They deserve for the lies about them to stop. And so do all of us who have been getting attacked. Actually harassed. Just my opinion. I took another bite. So yeah, this whole thing with a trip to the United States from Dave in Australia, with him posting that comment saying that Christopher Watts' wife and Bella and Cece are in a Protestant cemetery, that just, I'm sorry. That's just amazing. Amazing that in 4 years' time, it took Dave from Australia to be the one to uncover that little bit of truth.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're a little bit crackly, but I can hear ya.
Really? I think it's the internet because I
Okay.
haven't changed earbuds, so I'm not sure what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it was.
Okay.
But yeah, isn't it kind of ironic that it's Dave from Australia who found out?
Yeah. That
And
is weird.
I don't even know if he realized that he found out something significant either, because he wasn't here the first few years. So he doesn't know how much we heard this whole devout Catholic routine.
Yeah.
Holly said supposedly it's close to a certain house. And Cindy Watts told me that you can see the front door right from that site.
That's what I heard.
And that just seems kind of odd to me.
Yeah. Kind of a strange place to bury someone, isn't it?
I wonder maybe as I don't know at all. I'm just wondering, as maybe as a kind gesture, if maybe he and his family offered that to the family. Could that be?
I don't think so because her brothers were already buried there.
What?
Sandy's brothers were already buried there.
What?
There is a bench. You can't see it now, but there is a bench, and even Dave noticed it. There is a bench that's got the Ornata Brothers. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if they're not there, it's a memorial bench to them. So however you want to address that, I don't know. But I do remember him pointing that out in a video and going in and showing it. It's probably still over there on his channel where he went in on the cemetery side and you could see the bench there with the last name and the brothers there. I mean, it's there. There's
But
no
then
getting around
that
it.
would go against the whole storyline.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that because I don't know that everybody in her family was Catholic. I don't know that.
Well, that was the whole storyline, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe she was. Maybe she become one later. Maybe her brothers never were. Maybe that's why. Maybe that. I don't know. Maybe those plots owned by somebody else way before. I don't know. We don't know that, and probably no way of finding it out since it's.
And it doesn't even matter, except that it's another example of how things don't need to be this confusing when we're discussing a true crime case.
Right.
Like, how hard is it just to tell the truth?
Well, and Jackie's saying I thought they were from New Jersey. I do believe they were from New Jersey originally, and
So
they moved there.
did
Hmm.
all the extended family members move? Because the way Cindy Watts tells it, she said that Cindy Watts told me that her daughter-in-law told her that she and her brothers spent their summers up at their grandparents' house, their paternal grandparents' house in New Jersey.
Well, maybe there are some family members that are, still there, because I knew they did go back for funerals of other family members that were killed tragically or by other means, that weren't local, because they had fundraisers to raise money to go back for those. Yeah.
Right, like Jackie's saying, the narrative has been for nearly 4 years straight that it was a huge, strong Catholic family from Jersey.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you and I discussed some things about that too. So, yeah. Mm.
I'm surprised that it's a Protestant cemetery for Christopher Watt's wife after everything we've been told about the whole Catholic thing.
Hmm.
I'm surprised. I think you're right. I think the lack of any photos or videos or anything of any baptisms or any church activities, because when you have little ones in the Catholic Church, you are busy with a lot of church activities.
Yeah. And if they were going to have them in a private school, why not send them to a Catholic school?
Right.
If you are a devout Catholic and you have that kind of money, supposedly, now think about it, to send your children to an elite school, why not a Catholic school? Just saying.
It would have been less expensive.
Yeah, and they have daycare there too, so they can't say,
Uh-huh.
well, they didn't have daycare. Yeah, they do have daycare.
So then it makes you wonder, is it possible that she got somehow booted from it?
Yeah. And, we still don't know where Cece's birthday party was, where that actually was at. And I'm wondering, could it have been in that same church in the basement? I don't know.
Or in
I'm
any
just saying,
church?
or in any church or daycare center, or I don't know. It was just it just looked odd. The surroundings
I
around it
know
looked
it.
odd. Yeah.
I will say this. I have a different belief than a lot of people because I don't think people should be traipsing in the cemeteries for, like, I call it, to be a gawker tourist.
Right.
However, and I'm fully able to admit when I'm wrong. I have no problem with that. And I try to keep an open mind so that I can admit when I'm wrong and recognize it. I don't have the right to tell Dave that he can't go traipsing through the cemetery and being a gawker tourist, right?
Right.
Like, I think of just the respect for the cemetery, for the other people who have loved ones there, for anybody who has loved ones there, for the whole idea that maybe it would have been better if he wouldn't have discussed it and he would have just maybe gone to gawk and take pictures and do whatever he wanted to do without entangling with anyone,
Well, why tell them ahead of time you're going to come? That's what I
Right.
don't know. Yeah.
And my preference, I think, would be that people wouldn't just go to be like a tourist attraction, because I just hold burial sites more sacred than that.
Hmm.
And so, I pretty much went through my phase. I've told Dave off like 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
like in the last week. No, I'm kidding. Well, a couple times. But and I've been snarky, and you guys know by now I'm able to be snarky. I'm actually gifted at being snarky.
Mhm.
But I'm sitting here now at the other end of this little adventure of his,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking, hindsight's 2020. If that was Ronnie driving that car, which it looked like it may have been, I don't know. But if that was Ronnie driving him around
Mhm.
and they drove up to that cemetery, those are Ronnie's grandchildren.
Yeah, but the way I understand, the last time the Watts tried to go there, uh, Senior pulled up there, and the police were seen coming in as they were leaving. So apparently, the police were called on them for being there. Why?
Well, evidently they're saying that those cameras or that camera or who knows how many are not real time. I don't believe that.
Oh, I think they're real time. I
I
think the cameras in the home are real time, and I think they recorded things. I think they could talk to them, talk through them. I think there's a lot of things that's starting to make sense about this whole entire case now.
And I think, and I've actually already sent Dave an email suggesting this.
Mhm.
I think that Dave is the perfect person to start a petition on Ronnie and Cindy's behalf that they should politely, respectfully ask the church to please see to it that any surveillance equipment is removed. Because Ronnie and Cindy, in my opinion, have the right to be able to go to their grandchildren's burial site and their daughter-in-law's burial site without being watched.
Yeah, they should be able to go there without even being watched. It's nobody's business but theirs when they go. I'm sure that there's enough people that probably watch a lot of things they do all the time anyway. They probably have no real privacy anyway, the truth be known. But that would be the least that people could do them, is give them, you know, that alone time to go there and visit without people coming in and harassing them, and let alone cameras being there. I mean, it's just totally uncalled for. It just is.
I think it's unfair to Ronnie and Cindy. I think this entire case has been unfair to Ronnie and Cindy. They've been getting attacked, harassed, defamed, slandered. They have been treated like shit. And I think, of course, it'd be nicer if Ronnie and Cindy would stand up for themselves, right? But that's just.
I wish they would. I wish she would come forward. But I think, like I said, I think she's scared for some reason to come forward and say anything. I really do. I don't know why.
It's just not who they are. It's not their personalities, I guess. But
right.
I think in the absence of Ronnie and Cindy standing up and demanding that they don't have to be watched,
mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty prime when other people are being called stalkers when there are cameras watching people. I mean, come on. I think that Dave would be in the perfect position. I don't think he'll mind me saying this. He's got the mouth for it. Mm-hmm. He's got the attitude for it. I think he could promote a petition to politely, respectfully request on behalf of Ronnie and Cindy that they not be forced to be monitored. If you take a close look at some of the statements that have been made against them, in my opinion, they should not have to be monitored by people who evidently hold a tremendous animosity against them. I think that Cindy and Ronnie will probably be more apt to just avoid and not really stand up for their rights to privacy. And it's a public access, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's fair for grandparents to be able to expect that they're able to go to their grandchildren's gravesite without having people watching them. I agree, Marge. I think Dave would be well suited for that. As long as the petition is friendly, like it can't be pushy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you know about his trip? He went to the cemetery, right?
Yeah.
He said that he spoke with the police department, right?
Right.
And they said that law enforcement said that they were told that there were 2 foreign filmmakers that were going to be coming. So now Dave's a foreign filmmaker.
He can't afford to have filmmakers go there and film that. They're not going to go there and follow him over there just to do that. It's not a high profile case, everybody. No, it's just not.
No, Dave's the one.
Yeah, he's the one that's going to bring it. Okay.
Law enforcement was told that there were 2 foreign filmmakers who were going to be at the cemetery, and they're talking about Dave and his sidekick.
Oh, okay. The lady. Yeah. Okay.
That's why I'm laughing, because I think it's cute that Dave's being called a foreign filmmaker.
Well, maybe he should have gone there with a bunch of cameras and done it anyway, because they're making such a big deal about it, covered everything up and everything, acting crazy about stuff. I mean, I don't understand. And even Junior put a post or something about they were just cleaning. Yeah, y'all just know what you're talking about. We're just cleaning the monument like we do every year. Really?
Well,
Okay, it's still covered.
somebody made a comment, and they said to Dave, "Well, I don't mean to be negative, but what if they were just cleaning the headstones?" And then
Mhm.
a day or two after that, then the comment came up saying that they didn't know they had to ask permission to clean the headstones or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. You have to put. He has to have those ideas put in his head first. That happens quite a bit if you've noticed with a lot of things.
I notice a lot of the words. When I started to say that I've been slandered, libeled, defamed, and they have intentionally inflicted emotional distress, all of a
Yeah,
sudden I saw my exact words over and over again.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's just. I don't think there should. Why should they? I mean, if they're allowed to have a camera there, why can't everybody else that has anybody buried there have cameras? You know, I don't know of any history of anybody vandalizing or going out there and causing destruction to the property. I've never
Well,
heard
I
of
think what's
anything about
happened
it.
I think what's happened is once again, I think one side of the family was shown all sorts of kid gloves and red carpets and whatever. Well, the other side of the family isn't even considered.
Right.
But the other side of the family isn't standing there with their hand out saying, "Hey, we want to be able to have this and we want to be able to have that. Give us this, give us that." And that's
Did
not
I was
financing.
going to ask you? Did Cindy ever say anything to you about any of them being harassed or threatened or anything? Did she ever mention anything like that to you in any of your conversations?
Yes, she got some pretty nasty things.
She did.
Very nasty things. And I used to just really encourage her to get a lawyer for her and Ronnie both, so that way she could just turn everything over to her lawyer.
But I think that hate, though, at her was directed from what was put out in letters and in um, conversations with the police and the detectives. Everything they were attacked. She was attacked from the get go, just
Yeah, she
like
was.
CW, just like Ronnie. All of them were attacked from the very start. They just were. Yeah.
Yep. And I used to tell her to not answer her phone too because she's just so nice. She was getting calls from people wanting to be her best buddy.
Oh
And
yeah.
I used to tell her, don't answer your phone. Just don't answer it.
Yeah.
But she even doesn't want to hurt people's feelings. I mean, I think by now, hopefully she has learned to stop answering her phone. But, she's like you and me. We didn't even know this crap was going on, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden we're attacked.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like with that channel I was at. I'd been gone from there for 10 months and I get emails threatening me that I need to leave her alone and I need to back off. She had been the furthest thought from my mind in her channel. It had not been even anything that even crossed my mind. Me and a couple of friends were working on some cases here in Texas of a missing child and a missing woman who were both later found. Um, and the little boy was murdered, unfortunately. But I mean, we was busy working on that stuff. We was not paying any of mind whatsoever. And then boom, all this stuff in the same words, the same misspelled words, the same threats, the same vocabulary. It's a pattern that's forming. That's repeating itself. I can see it all over the place now. I can spot them any place I go now. Any place I go.
Yeah. And the longer you watch this crap go on, the more you can see it, the faster you can see it.
Oh yeah.
People are getting all whiny to me saying I shouldn't say anything against Justin. Well, have all of you not seen the video that Justin put out? What was it, a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
Like, does anybody care when we get attacked, Paula? Does
No.
anybody care? No.
No. No.
We're supposed to just take it.
Yeah. But if they get attacked, it's a different story, right? Yeah. Well,
Yep.
but one thing about it is we don't go back and change our mind, do we, about what we said and put apologies out there and stuff. We don't do that
We
because we
don't.
don't have anything to apologize for. We've done nothing wrong. Nothing.
Exactly right. And we don't flip flop around just trying to act like we care about somebody so we can try to get a super chat.
And we don't go bother other creators We're not
Exactly.
over there in their chat raising Cain and all kinds of stuff. But well, actually, I don't even. It just isn't worth it. It doesn't. I'm not going to give them what they want. That's what they want. They want us to draw us in, just like a certain woman over there in the UK does. That's all she does those
Yep.
videos for, is to try to draw the hate. So it gives her something else to make another video about.
Exactly.
That's what she wants, and I'm not going to give that to her anymore. I'm just not
The
doing it.
pretzel one or the one who posts other people's food pictures?
Oh, the bosom buddy lady, the one.
Oh, okay.
She said, "Stop calling me your bosom buddy. I'm not your bosom buddy." Well, we didn't mean it that you was our buddy. Literally, we're talking about your ridiculous pictures
Remember,
you put out there.
comprehension levels are low. Remember?
Man, I'm telling
Okay.
you. You tell me.
Somebody just mentioned that somebody posted the YouTube rules. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It says this is YouTube's actual rules, regulations, and guidelines that they have had for the 4 years that I've been on here, and they could give two shits. It's unbelievable that they not once stopped any this. I'm reading this verbatim. So
Okay.
many laws have been broken by these channels and YouTube themselves for allowing this. Even after all of my several attorneys have it says read more, hold on. Has contacted them, sent them the evidence of the abuse, etc., ECT. I'm holding all of these people accountable. Just think, if only they stood by their own rules, this would have never happened to my family and many others. Well, I think if YouTube would have maybe been a little faster to react to the harassment, then you and I wouldn't have been harassed either, Paula, huh?
Well, then why did the family take down all the videos and stuff so people couldn't see all her videos that they were getting ad money from and things? Why leave them up if you're so concerned about somebody looking into things that you all don't want to touch base on? There's a bunch of them they should have took down, period, and they didn't.
Now I'm looking at what was posted. It says, again, this is YouTube's actual rules, regulations, and guidelines.
Oh, yeah.
But all I see here is the list of who are in a protected class, okay?
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And the protected class, and I don't think it was for the entire 4 years either. I think it was actually a couple years after. But the protected class, it says victims of a major violent event and their kin. Okay. A major violent event, it's my understanding, means something other than a true crime case where you have 3 people in a family who have died.
Mm-hmm.
I think a major violent event would be something more like, I'm not even going to say it, but a major violent event I think would involve multiple people. I know there for a while people were trying to call Christopher Watts a serial killer. No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Serial killers do not kill all of their people at one time. That's not what makes you a serial killer. A serial killer is like once and then 3 weeks later and then a month later or whatever, right?
Right.
So he wasn't a serial killer. This wasn't like the Boston Strangler or anything. Okay. So I would question, does this case even fall into that category of a major violent event?
Right. I don't think so, but that's my opinion,
But here's something interesting, okay? Because on this list, there's one word cut off right above the word caste. It's in alphabetical order: caste, disability, ethnicity, da.
Right.
And it looks like there's a G right in the second space for the letter. I have a feeling that the one that was cut off says age. Okay? How many times have we been called old, ugly, grandma, right?
Oh, yeah.
How many times have we been age shamed by the scumbag attackers? And age is on that list. But for some reason, it was cut off for this post.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Interesting. So I guess it's okay to beat up on grandma, right? No, it
Yeah.
isn't okay because YouTube rules, actual rules, regulations, and guidelines, quote unquote, include age as a protected class. So stop calling us old. And anyway, we're not ashamed of our age anyway, but
I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm not ashamed of anything I've done. And I'm certainly, like I said, I'm not the one with dirty hands. My hands are clean. So
exactly right. Exactly right. And here's another one, sex or gender. Okay. How many times have we been called cackling old hens?
Right.
How many times have we been just spoken of so over the top in such terrible, insulting ways because we're women? How many times? Old hags. Remember that one?
Oh, we've been attacked. Remember about being 14-year-old mothers and stuff, all kinds of bullshit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, so there's two of the protected class right there that we both fall into, and yet we're being harassed and attacked all the time.
Right.
So there you go. There you go. Oh, I'm just glancing over the other posts, and I don't even want to touch on those. I'll tell you. I think that it would be a really good idea, Dave, if you're listening, even if you're not listening during the live chat, if you're listening to this on replay, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a poll. Everybody vote one, okay? How many people think that Dave would be the perfect person to promote a petition to politely ask the Presbyterian Church to please, out of respect for Ronnie and Cindy Watts' right to visit their granddaughter's burial site without being watched, to please be sure that any surveillance or monitoring equipment is removed?
Put me down as a one.
Okay, so vote one. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll go Paula, or I'll go Star Mama. Whoop.
One. Yep.
Now it says PS. Okay, Star
That's
Mama.
okay.
Star Mama votes one. If you believe that Dave would be the perfect voice to get a petition drive going, then put one.
And you need to vote too.
Oh, and I'll do a one. Okay. So Dave, I want you to take a look at this. Take a look at this comment thread here. One. We're all voting for you to be the voice for Ronnie and Cindy to put together a petition. And yes, I do like to write. And if you need any hints, I'm certainly available to help you write it, because it's important that it be written respectfully. Right. You know, I don't blame the church at all, because I think the church is trying to do the right thing, trying to, err on the side of caution, whatever. They're trying to be respectful. But I think in the mix, maybe they didn't think about Ronnie and Cindy.
Right.
So, okay, let's just go ahead and vote Dave in. Like, let's not say, gee, Dave, maybe you should do this. Let's elect Dave with our one votes. We'll elect Dave to the position of promoting a petition.
And if any of his subs or mods are listening, maybe go there and suggest that he do something, and where they can post that in their live, or something.
Yeah.
Or on the community post, go in there and list their name and put a one by it.
Yep. Yeah. Because I do think with his following of people, I think that there would be a lot of people who would understand and see, because I think there are a lot of people now in the true crime community who are no longer fearful at all of standing firm in support of Ronnie and Cindy Watts.
Right.
So I think the petition could actually get, some good traction. I really do.
Well, their rights should have been protected from the beginning also anyway. It's just simple. They should have been protected, and they weren't. People were too busy wanting to tear them apart, as bad as they wanted to tear their son apart. And it was very unfair, just very unfair.
Well, I think Ronnie and Cindy have really gained a lot of credibility by the way they have held their heads high, and they've been so beat up too, and they've stood strong.
Yeah, I agree.
That says a lot right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we got that housekeeping out of the way, right?
Right.
So, Dave, if you're listening, you have been elected as the petition king. Just holler if you want any sentences for it.
Or he could even call that, maybe if he's there with Ronnie, maybe they call the church and see what they would need to get that information to the right people there at the church to act on their behalf.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Why he's right there. I mean, I'm sure they would talk to him. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Because then they could actually just meet with them and just say to them, this is just not okay. This is just not fair.
And you see what's going on. These grandparents are being denied the right to go there and visit their grandchildren's grave because of that camera and the surveillance, and the signs and covering everything. And how is that fair? It was their grandchildren also, and their daughter-in-law. I mean, it's not fair. It's just not.
I think I would be totally pissed if I was Cindy, with the history that Cindy has had with that wedding and with that nut meltdown and all the abuses she took on social media and shitty emails and everything. Right. If I was Cindy, I would be really angry at the thought that she's supposed to be watched at the cemetery.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what possible damage they think those people would do anyway. It just doesn't make sense. It's just to me, it's another way of hurting them. That the other side of the family's just making more stabs at them to hurt them. That's all it is.
Power and control.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. It just is. Yeah.
My dog just looked out the slider fast. I thought, oh, here we go again. Another raccoon live chat.
Oh, really?
I don't see one. I hope I don't see one. I'm not sure, but I think they actually, I think they trapped one and set it free, which is, I was kind of worried about that because you said they kind of run like in families.
Yes.
But I don't know. How smart are they? Because if one got trapped, then the other one's...
It all depends on how far they move them, You almost have to move several of them to achieve that goal, the whole family. Yeah.
Right, but they're only moving the ones they trap.
They may end up finding them again. They may find their way back again. And it may be the water that they're after there, too. And the fish and the berries and the access to the sources they have,
I know what. There's just too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my grandpa used to do just like, we called it like a pellet gun. It was like a BB gun kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He would have one of those for like the squirrels because, raccoons, squirrels, whatever. He had a really good garden and he really didn't like his garden getting,
Yeah, rabbits are hard on gardens. Yeah.
And he would just like all of a sudden grab his little pellet gun and peek out the back door and go ping, ping, And of course we'd be like, Grandpa, leave them alone. They're cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But back then too, your garden was your source of your food all winter too. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he was a farmer too. He worked for the state, but he was a farmer. Mm-hmm. That was his job. And they also had farms of their own that they were older. I hesitate to say too much because of the way the Scumbag Attackers are, but
I know. Yeah.
They retired the year that I was born. Both of them worked for the state, and my grandma was a nurse and my grandpa was a farmer. But during the Depression, they were able to buy a couple of farms that were taken from people.
Right.
They were able to buy them like dirt cheap, sadly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a little one themselves already. And then I don't know. I'll tell you my favorite story about my grandma. You know, they didn't argue ever, right? They
Mhm.
had just two little things that they would, you know, tit for tat over for years, for like decades probably. Um, One was that my maternal grandfather and my paternal grandmother actually were friends before wait, I said this wrong. My maternal grandfather and my paternal grandmother knew each other before my maternal grandma and grandpa started dating. And
Okay.
so anytime there was any kind of family thing, it was always like,
Yeah.
I mean, they all pretended to be friendly to each other, but I know it was fun to watch because my grandma would just be like looking at my grandpa like, mm-hmm.
Giving
So
that side eye. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that was one cute little tip for tat. And the other one was that during the Depression, now they both worked full time hours, but they also had working farms. They called them like gentleman farms and stuff like that. But you're right, it was all about producing food, right?
Right.
It wasn't
Exactly.
it wasn't for flowers or fun. And they worked hard, both of them, of course. And my grandmother would tell this story, and I just loved her for it. And I could just see it. She was a high spirited, stood firm woman.
Mhm.
She would they used to do a thing where they would have like even just a cardboard sign. You know how if you go to meet someone at the airport and then you throw up a sign, a silly sign, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they would have signs down by the railroad tracks, and that's how they called them hobos. That's how the hobos would go and find work. And these weren't just like homeless people or whatever. These were people who were family men who were traveling even just a few miles or whatever to go to the farms out in the country to find work, to find food and to find work.
Right.
Well, what they would do is my grandma was always very adamant that if a man came and did a man's, you know, work, right?
Right.
She always wanted to feed them well. And she would invite them because the custom was to set food out for the workers, like even on just the back stoop, to set their dinners out.
Right.
My grandmother absolutely refused to set the food out for the hobos.
Hmm.
She invited them into her kitchen, not into the dining room, but into the kitchen, and she invited them to wash their hands in the sink. She had good cleaner and whatever right there, to wash their hands, to sit down at the table, and to enjoy the dinner meal with her and my grandpa and whoever else was there.
Yeah.
My grandpa, on the other hand, said they don't belong in our house, you know? And like his thing was, don't you ever invite them in unless he's right there, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And because, you know, he'd be out in the field or out in the barn or wherever. And that was their big thing. I mean, they were well into their 70s and they were still arguing over that. That
Yeah.
happened in the 1930s.
Yeah.
But
They were around the air time my grandparents and stuff. Yeah.
I always stood up
Hmm.
for my grandma because my grandma used to say, they're human beings, they're not dogs. I feed dogs on the back porch. I don't feed human beings on the back porch.
Right. Well, and you could trust people a lot more back then than you can now. That's for sure. You know, they wouldn't come in and do some crazy stuff to your family and stuff like they do now. So,
Yeah, and just think about it too, that you know, my kids and I volunteered all the time for the community meals program.
yeah.
And the lady who founded it and ran it year after year after year, she would always give a speech and whatever at first. And she said one year, and I thought it was such she always gave amazing speeches, but she said that when you are speaking with the people who are either coming for the meals or if you were one of the drivers, the people you're delivering meals to for the shut ins,
Right.
she would say, you don't know, but you might be the only person that they've been able to speak with. That you might be, and we'd be delivering like on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or Easter or stuff like that, Thanksgiving. Or if you're, a host at one of the tables that you're supposed to like engage with people at your table. And she would make that point. You don't know, but you might be the only person who's speaking to that person all day long. And you might be the person who helps that person decide to not end their life. You might be that one person to help that person decide to actually try harder to maybe improve their lot in life, right? If they can. Or
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Or motivate them or help them
In a different direction, right?
Exactly. So that was something that I think my grandma, that's where she was with that. You feed dogs on the back porch, right?
Right. And I can understand that, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, the other part of it too is our Second Amendment, because back in the 1930s, I highly doubt, like you said, how people didn't just come in and do stuff. I highly doubt anyone would have dared,
Yeah.
There was a gun behind how many curtains?
Oh, probably I don't know. I don't even want to guess at that.
I bet you my grandpa never had a problem with raccoons.
Probably not.
Probably maybe for one day.
Yeah. Not for long, no. Nope.
I mean, as far as coming right up to the house, I bet that never happened. I mean, never.
Yeah.
His yeah.
That's,
Yeah, we'll see, guys. So far, one of them did get moved. So hopefully the other ones recognize what happened and they're deciding to go further away.
so I'm curious, what does everybody in the chat think about what's going on right now? What's being said out there? Anybody got any opinions? Want to come up? Want to say something?
Contrary Marge is here. I love your comments, Marge.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. She said kind words are powerful. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Marge says if Nutgate were true, okay, how are we saying this? Shanachio? Is that how you're saying it? Shanachio? I don't know. Would have fed the child nuts to take pictures of the kid's face swelling up for content. I'm laughing.
Yes, that's probably true.
It is so, I agree. Spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Where are the photos of the allergic reactions? Of course.
Unless it was in her mind.
It could have been.
Just like with the razor blades laying all over.
Could
the thing could have been in her mind. Could have been what she was seeing.
My theory is that she told Christopher Watts to come home and he said he had to work. So I think she staged an allergic reaction to make him come home.
Oh, gosh.
Because I don't think she was allowed to take the kids to the doctor. I think whoever her helper was that day was probably getting on her nerves or something. So she probably told Christopher Watts to come home and he probably said no, that he couldn't because he was taking off way too much time.
Well, I watched a video of hers earlier a little bit today, and I had missed the part where she said that if she ever had anybody come sit with the girls for them to go do things, that she always offered them Thrive because they were going to need it to keep up with Cece.
Oh, brother.
Mm-hmm. Never heard that before. Mm-mm.
That is so ridiculous.
Isn't it? It's crazy. Yeah.
Did you see the thing I posted about the Dr. Resnick's 5 categories of filicide?
Yes, I did.
I found that very interesting in the part of psychotic under that category. Mm-hmm. It said that oftentimes the mother is triggered by the child's screams. Do you remember when I said about the Band-Aid getting ripped off when she heard the truck back into the driveway?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I think when Cece had that meltdown, she didn't know what to do.
Oh, when Cece had the meltdown, Cindy Watts said that is when she went ballistic. That's when her daughter-in-law went ballistic. Cece started kicking and screaming and, crying. And Cindy Watts said that is when she turned. Like, she was fine. And then all of a sudden, she went charging toward her down the hallway, yelling at her that she would try to murder Cece.
So it had nothing to do with the ice cream, nothing to do with the nuts, nothing to do with anything. It was when Cece started having that temper tantrum, she went into a full-blown meltdown because she didn't know what to do.
She
That's
didn't know
what,
what to do.
yeah,
It was too much.
that makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
it
more
does.
sense than what we're being told, that's for sure.
Sure does. And at that point, if she would have flipped out and gone over the edge, she would have been seeing razor blades, right?
Exactly. Which she looked like somebody that had gone over the deep side by her pictures. And because she stopped making videos, that kind of was telling too, wasn't it?
Stop making videos, totally. I think she might have made one or two. Marge corrected me. It's Pinocchio. It rhymes with Pinocchio, so it's Shinocchio, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm.
I might not remember that.
That's
Samantha's
pretty good.
reading us. Remember, you rip off that Band-Aid. She said herself there were only 20 minutes a day, even fewer than that sometimes, fewer, 10 to 20 minutes a day, that she didn't have a Band-Aid on.
Yeah, I thought she said she changed them before her feet hit the floor and did that, took those vitamins.
She took it off.
Yep.
Took it off, and then she hopped in the shower, and she had the new one on within 10, 15, 20 minutes. Oh, good. I got it right. Shinocchio. I loved your comment, Marge, about the car. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
That was so cute. So what was your question? Like, what do you guys think about this whole cemetery thing? Is that your question, Paula?
Or just anything in general about the new stuff that's coming out. What is everybody thinking about? Where do you think this is going, or why do you think it's all coming out again like this, so hot and heavy?
Yeah, why is shit hitting the fan?
Mm-hmm.
Marge says if Cece was capable of having near-death episodes, there would have been one every week. And let's look closer at that too. She took the time to talk to somebody for how many minutes, who knows. She took the time to give Cece a bath before driving her supposedly to not the closest emergency care center. Well, if your kid's having an allergic reaction, you dial 911. You don't give them a bath. You don't talk to a friend. If they're actually having an allergic reaction, if you're going to drive them there, which I don't think you should, I think you should dial 911. But if you're going to drive them there, then you're going to stop at the first available site. You're not going to drive past the med center. You're not going to drive past the fire station.
And shouldn't she use that EpiPen if she was swelling that bad?
I think that may have been before she had an EpiPen.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if she's going to be claiming that there was an allergic reaction, you don't take the time to change their clothes, give them a bath and change their clothes.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah, I never understood that one either. For some reason, she wanted to make sure she had that bath before they got her there, didn't they? I mean, that's
I don't think that Christopher Watt's wife was the brightest bulb about all of her medical claims. I think she would read just a little bit and think she figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she kind of screwed up on that one because I don't believe that Cece was allergic to anything.
Oh, I don't think so either. She should have never given her any of those crowbars if she was, that's for sure.
Right, remember that? Those labels?
Oh, yeah. 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 Nobody wants to touch on that either, do they?
No, not at
Certainly.
all. But that's so true. Holly's saying she had Munchausen and it wouldn't end well. When we look at the fact, like I said earlier, about the autopsy report saying all three of them were healthy, then that means that Christopher Watt's wife was lying about all those health issues because those autopsy reports said they were healthy.
Right.
So people say, oh, well, you're not a nurse. You can't diagnose Munchausen by proxy. Well, nurses don't diagnose Munchausen by proxy. Doctors do,
Right.
not nurses.
And I'm sure I'm not so sure that when Cece was about 10 months old, and that's when that first report supposedly come about, that a doctor or a nurse didn't actually call and report that.
That a doctor or nurse didn't what?
Possibly call and report how much how much Bella was being took to the hospital and stuff.
Right. Well, the claims of the people insisting there was an open CPS case are that in December of 2016, that both children were in the hospital, and that's when the most recent CPS case was opened. They also claim there was one previous to that when Bella was a baby before Cece was born.
That's the one I'm talking about. The one when Cece was or Bella was about 10 months old, I think. Around that age. It was before Cece was born. Yes.
And wasn't there a letter in Discovery 2014, I think?
I believe so.
And then they said that was a typo, remember?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because
a lot of typos too, right?
Yeah, the fact of 2014 wasn't a convenient fact, so it got changed.
Right. Hmm.
Here we go. Children's illnesses, BS. Her illnesses, BS. All for attention. I think all for money. And think about it. Disability checks, anyone? You know that there is disability money available when kids are sick, right?
Right.
And there's money also when the parent is sick on behalf of the kids and the care and the guardians and the...
Yeah, they can all get money. They all get, they get a check. They get special, I don't know, certain amount of monies that go to certain things, like probably for their daycare and things like that, actually.
Exactly. Especially if they're court ordered to be there. I think that was her income source. I do.
Yeah. Because I noticed, even if you looked when they did the video and stuff of the closets and everything, all of them had brand new clothes with price tags on them. The kids, him and her both, they had lots of things in there with price tags on.
Weird.
So they had plenty of clothes. Somebody was spending some money on clothes.
But that's really strange. It's like somebody staged the place or something.
I was wondering about that too. Should have done something with all those cheap purses and shoes, That was tacky.
Holly, are you new? Are you newer to the discussion? I think she is, isn't she?
I think I've seen her someplace else. I'm not sure, but not so much here.
Marge says she would have known the loopholes exactly, and I think she would have had people in her ear coaching her too.
Right.
The reason I asked if you're new, Holly, is I spoke with Cindy many times over the course of a long time, and then I stopped speaking with her when Ronnie traveled to, or no, it was before that. It was when, according to that KK, Christopher Watt's sister contacted her and said, start your channel. And KK was supposedly going to basically offer legal advice. She claimed she was going to file a 35C for Christopher Watts. And the reason I stopped speaking to them at that point is because they had a couple of good offers coming in.
Yeah.
From actual lawyers.
And a private investigator.
Who were actually licensed in Colorado to practice law in Colorado with great experience in filing appeals, criminal defense. So why on earth would anybody say no to that kind of help? Oh, pro bono, by the way.
Yeah.
Why would anybody say no to that kind of help? And the sister contact a YouTuber and say, okay, go ahead, let's do it. And then that YouTuber had zero legal knowledge.
Right.
She said her credentials didn't matter because she knew people who actually had credentials. Well, I guess your credentials matter if you're going to be practicing law.
Yeah, you would think.
So when that happened, but anyway, Holly, I have had many hours, many hours of conversation.
I think she's talking about the video that Dave asked you if he could use of your conversation on that phone call with Cindy. She said, did you do a video about your chat with Cindy? Yeah, you did. The one where you actually played it live, remember?
Right. Yeah, it's like 33 minutes, I think.
Right. I think that's what
Yeah.
she's referring to.
Yeah, that's up online, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a video, it's just an audio. None of my videos are videos. They're just audios
Mm-hmm.
with pictures. So I guess they're sort of a video.
But you did actually have, I mean, you could actually tell it was Cindy you was talking to.
Well, one day I'm like, Cindy, I wish that people could hear your voice because they would know how much you loved not only your grandchildren, but also your daughter-in-law.
Right.
You know, Cindy and her daughter-in-law were very close. And I'll still stand by this. I think that Christopher Watt's wife was closest to Cindy across the board, closest to Cindy except for Christopher Watt. I think Cindy was next in line for who she trusted the most.
Yep. I think she trusted him and then her. I sure do.
Yep.
Makes sense. And I think there's people that wasn't very happy about that.
I agree. And again, Cindy's personality isn't one to come out swinging. She's just going to step back and not really say too much or whatever, right?
You know,
But
sometimes I used to wish I was like that, but I'm glad I'm not because I've been very vocal, sometimes maybe too vocal in my life, but I look back and I'm glad I was now, you know?
Well, I think that's the mama bear thing too. I think that's the mama bear because it isn't only our own children that we're mama bears for. You know, we stand
Right.
up when we see something. Like with this case, we see the look of sadness in Bella's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And it brings out the mama bear.
And she was constantly worried about Cece's health for somebody so little, you know, something bad happened to Cece if she ate the wrong thing or did something. She was always concerned about that.
I think it was all about power and control because she knew damn well that Cece wasn't sick.
I'm talking about Bella. I think Bella was made to believe.
Oh, yeah.
Bella was made to believe that
Yes.
Cece was sick, and if she could even be responsible if she didn't watch certain things and make sure she didn't do certain things.
I think it's absolute child abuse. In my opinion,
It is
child abuse to train a child the way Bella was trained to fear everything.
Right.
She was, according to Cindy, she was afraid of everything, the dirt, everything. That is, in my opinion, child abuse.
Yep.
To have a little girl saying to the babysitter that she was scared somebody would feed Cece the wrong thing and Cece would die.
Right.
That, to me, sounds like child abuse.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Some of the stuff that people try to put out there just makes no sense to me whatsoever. And that they can't see this case for what it really was, you know, it's sad.
Marge is saying, what other reason can there be for his parents standing down? I'm curious about that too, because if I'm the grandparent and I'm out at the cemetery and I want to go to the cemetery with this guy from Australia and they've got tarps on it and cameras in the trees, I'm going to be pissed and I'm going to be making some noise. I mean, making some noise. I'm going to be the one calling the police. I'm going to be the one having a lawyer get to work on getting those cameras and tarps.
Or what if the Watts had called the media out there to see what was going on? Yeah, put it all on camera. Yeah, a news station would love to get a hold of that. You know that.
Yeah, so what other reason can there be? I don't know. I think they might have fear going on.
I do too.
Maybe they're afraid even for their son's health and well-being. I don't know.
I don't know if it's that or they're afraid for their other grandchildren. I think they've been threatened about their other grandchildren. I really do. That's what I'm thinking.
So
That
maybe
would
they're
be,
just laying low after all the abuse they've had to take over the
yeah.
last almost 4 years. Maybe they're just laying low.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
maybe they're just choosing not to use their time and energy to associating with different people, maybe. I think Cindy knows a lot more than any of us do.
Oh, yeah. But I think it's more Ronnie involved with doing anything with Dave right now. I don't think it's so much her, actually.
I actually think it's been Ronnie and Jamie all the way for anything like that Atlanta trip and stuff.
Hmm.
I think that was Ronnie too. I don't think Cindy was part of any of it.
Nah. Nope, not in her nature.
In fact, I spoke with her after that, and I did not zero in on it, but I got the impression she wasn't even aware of it.
That makes sense. Yep. Wow.
Somebody just made the comment, but I don't see it now because it went faster than me. Somebody just made the comment that Christopher Watt's wife was never sick before her trips. That's because
Well,
she wasn't sick.
but people want to make a big deal still that when he got there in North Carolina that he was trying to poison her with medication. I don't believe that. She was
I
sick,
don't believe
complaining
that
of those
for a second.
symptoms
Yep.
of her migraine. She was on texting to her friends and stuff, complaining about the same thing. Okay, before he got there. Then the same scenario when she was in Arizona. So I just don't see that. Nope. Sorry. Don't see it.
I don't think she was sick at all.
Yeah.
Anybody with all the illnesses she claimed to have would have never bought tickets to a Lady Gaga concert and made it there on time.
Not just that one, but what about that Metallica one that she went to with him? I mean, that's really hard rock.
And those shoes she would have worn,
Yeah, with migraines and stuff, I can't imagine that. I just can't. There's just places my mind says, nope, I couldn't go there. No.
But that's one thing that people who actually do have lupus have shared is that it's hard for them to even make plans because they're not sure how their symptoms are going to be that far off.
Right. Well, and I know people that actually have it and they cannot be out in the sun. I'm telling you, they can't be out in the sun at all. I mean, if they're out in the sun more than 10 or 15 minutes, they're doomed. They usually have to wear all kinds of stuff to even do that.
And the thing is, too, the sun thing, that isn't about whether or not their skin might get blotchy. That's
No.
about causing damage to internal organs.
Exactly.
So you're not going to take a chance if you're a mom, if you're a wife, if you're young, at any age. You're not going to take a chance if you know that that could be causing damage to your internal organs. Marge says the leopard gown cured everything.
Oh, yeah. That leopard dress.
Here's a good point. Meeser Mom says the kids were not sick in North Carolina either.
No, they looked pretty good there, didn't they?
Yeah, Bella's hair actually started to grow.
Mm-hmm. They actually looked like they were filling out too. Bella looked like she put some weight on and she had some color in her, and yeah.
Yeah,
the one who looked sick was her mom.
Well, it makes you wonder how many pounds Bella may have gained that summer, how much she weighed before that,
Yeah. And I have a feeling they weren't doped up and put to bed every night either at 6:30,
Well, they were when they stayed. Yeah, I think they were, because when Cindy took her to Walmart for her freebie shopping spree.
Oh yeah.
She had to have Benadryl. Her daughter-in-law put Benadryl and Tylenol into the cart.
I remember. Yeah, she still got that. I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, I think as long as she was there, I think the kids were getting dosed from the way Cindy talked.
Yeah.
I think Cindy and probably her son were the only two who didn't dose them up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Samantha said that she recommended essential oils for the kids in one of her videos. If she was putting essential oils in those nebulizers, no wonder they would have presented with symptoms of asthma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something about lavender or something. I know she referred to that in a video.
I agree that Bella looked malnourished. I agree with that.
Yeah. But was it being done intentional is what I'm asking. And
I
I
think
think it
so.
may have been. I think it may have been intentional.
I think so. I think it was intentional. How else could she post their pictures and say how sick they were?
Yeah, because there's been other mothers that did the same thing, you know, and made their kids look sick, or made their kids sick and made them look sick
Yep.
too.
Remember that case with that little Olivia too that happened right out there?
Yeah, in the same hospital and everything too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, weird.
Very strange.
Yeah, makes you wonder where people get up the ideas they do, you know. Sometimes there's too much stuff put out there on social media for people who aren't thinking in the right state of mind, that take that information and they twist and turn it and put it
Well,
to
I think
suit whatever they're there, you know,
social
for.
media, I think social media is much more harmful. You know, people who have to hop on
Mm,
Facebook and post a picture of their breakfast plate and stuff
right.
and pretend like, I mean, I'm sorry, you can even tell by looking at people's profiles. You can tell when a spouse has cheated by the way they're posting. Like you can just tell.
Hmm.
When there's a history of infidelity, you can tell. Just, it's always like they're almost like promoting this fallacy that they have some kind of perfect thing going on, right? You're
But
not posting.
there's people that have open marriages though that stay together, and they're both of them are free to go and see who they want, do what they want to, you know.
But if you're posting on Facebook repeatedly how wonderful your spouse is,
Hmm.
chances are they're not.
Right.
Chances are they're trying to convince themselves that they are.
Right. Mm.
Yeah, putting the kids on social media 24/7, exactly. Poor little Bella did not want to be on social media.
Well, I know there's a couple videos where Cece was acting up, and you could see the pinch marks on her legs the next day, where you could see her pinching them in them. I'm telling you, they're there.
And remember that time when she said, "Do you want a haircut?" Remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yep. Yeah. It's, to me, it's all self-explanatory by her own words out of her own mouth and her own actions. Especially that zoo video. I went back and watched that where Bella was hiding in that closet. Well, I'd hide too. She was acting the way she was acting that day. It's crazy.
Well, remember she said she was screaming in the pantry?
Hmm.
I'm sorry, that's not a pantry. That might be a pantry closet or a pantry cupboard.
Yeah.
That is not a pantry. Or if it is, if this is what, new home builders are selling younger people, that what a pantry is, that wasn't a pantry. That was a tiny little closet.
Most pantries you can walk into,
Exactly.
and they've got shelf after shelf after shelf,
Exactly right.
Hmm.
But yeah, she said right on the video that Bella was screaming or crying or whatever in the pantry.
Yep.
And she opened the door and Bella's just looking at her like, what?
What
She
are
had
you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I highly doubt she was screaming with a mouthful of marshmallows.
Oh, and she was the one that was going to have to chance taking those two monsters to the zoo all by herself, but yet her mother was right there.
Yeah,
She
her
ducked in the background.
mother ducked around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brooke
So
says that she's
misleading.
looked for the haircut video and can't find it.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
we looked the other day for the comment, check the knives, and we couldn't find that either.
Hmm. But we still have the one where it said the other two daughters, though, which they say was a typo, but it wasn't a typo. It was right out of her mouth. I heard it. Everybody
Yeah.
else heard it. Yeah.
Well, how do you mistakenly say she had a play date with her other two daughters?
Yeah, her other two daughters. I mean, there has to be two other daughters to make such a statement, I would think, right? Yeah.
That
That's what
was
I'm saying. People are not using, a lot of these people that want to be so supportive of them are not using logical thinking about anything that has to do with this case, because there's so much stuff out in this case that's not logical and does not make sense.
well, the official narrative, the monster, I call it the monster versus saint narrative.
Oh, yeah.
It's baloney. It's bullshit.
Well, and so is the theory that she ever made $500,000. There is no proof that's ever surfaced that that woman ever made $500,000 in her entire life,
And why
especially from an MLM.
and
No.
why is it that we're hearing that more and more in the last couple months?
Yeah, well,
Because there for a long time, everyone pretended that went away, right?
Hmm.
But now in the last couple months, we're hearing it over and over again that she made 500,000 a year.
Because people are challenging her saying it. It's what it is that they want to put out there. And it's wrong to put her out there. She didn't ask to be put out there on that pedestal because that certainly is not what she portrayed herself in her videos to be by any
And
means.
in one of the recent comments posted on that in-laws profile, he said, or the comment said anyway, I don't know who wrote it, but the comment said that she built that house in North Carolina all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Whatever. I don't even know why she built it. She didn't have it for very long.
She had less. What was it? I'm trying to think. Was it 5% down payment?
Right.
She didn't build shit.
Mm-mm.
She didn't build anything. Because if you build any part of any new home and then you're the purchaser, you have more than 5% equity.
Right.
Exactly. And where are the pictures? You know damn well if she ever swung a hammer in her life, there'd be a picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like me with my ex-husband and I when we built our house when we were in our 20s. And we have pictures and we have movie film of me pregnant with our two older ones running around and me breaking ground with a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do when you build a new house. I didn't see any of those pictures.
Yeah.
I do remember staging it for the picture because there's no way in hell I'm going to be digging dirt. I was pregnant, like very pregnant, which made the picture even cuter. But that's what you do, you know, you do those kinds of things. You take pictures of the house as it's progressing through the building stages, right?
Right. Well, I didn't know when you were 14 years old and you're having a baby that you could own a home. Did you? Yeah, that's a good one. So they need to take and stop and think about that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, you know it. Yep, I dropped the first one at 14.
Mm.
Well, and I filed multiple bankruptcies, and I'm lying about my education. I'm lying about my career.
Yeah, lying about where you live and everything. Yeah, we know where you live and their education. They have none. They don't even have jobs for the most part.
And remember that picture of me graduating from law school? That was really at a witches convention. Don't forget.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. Whoever came up with that was really desperate.
That luncheon with Dr. Ben Carson. Remember how they made those videos saying he was my boyfriend?
Oh, yeah.
And then they said he's the father of the child who just got out of prison in Pennsylvania. I mean, it's all so ridiculous.
You mean the guy that's the wrong color to be your son? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
They try to go with so much dumb stuff that makes no sense. And
makes
a lot
no
of it, they don't even check out before they put it out there. So they put it out there and then they have to keep running with it, try to make it as good as they can, you know, to make it believable.
They're liars. They're liars. You know, the guacamole dip, she was up there going, oh, really? I thought she was a teacher. Really? I thought she was a teacher.
Yeah.
You know, if they're just a pack of liars with, you know, moods that come and go, then they're going to run with whatever they want to run with. Dipshits. Oh, Samantha's fessing up here. She had a baby when she was 15. Well, maybe Samantha, maybe they did like a full dox on you and confused you with me. No, because they said 14 for me. Can you imagine being 14 and having a baby? Oh my gosh, that'd be frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the wrong girl with that accusation because
they got the wrong people for the most part anyway.
Exactly.
They're telling them themselves what they're doing.
Psychos who made the list of who to attack with this stupid case. They picked wrong when they picked us. They picked wrong.
You know, and it's just like, speaking of the block, she tried to put out there that people were attacking her about her domestic violence videos she put out and stuff. Well, I was a victim of domestic violence and a horrible domestic violence situation for years. But I can tell, and it was in a small town where families knew everybody. They knew the judges, they knew the lawyers, all that stuff. She tried to tell people that when she went to court, that judge called her a drunken whore, and they do not do that.
They don't do that.
And she put it out there because the prosecutor and or his lawyer, the exes or whoever's lawyer, and him went golfing every day. They don't go golfing every day either, but they would never jeopardize their judicial seat to say
No
something
way.
like that. It just, and people have questioned her about that. She said, I'm telling you, that's what happened. It was a little town. And I would love to see those court records on that, to see the recorded where that happened, because I guarantee it doesn't exist. Just great. And she was filming those domestic violence videos in a closet. It was really strange. The one she did, there was 3 or 4 of them, and they were you could tell she was sitting in a closet filming them. I thought that was strange, but that's what she claimed. And she's put it out there again that another creator that was a buddy with her for a while and then it didn't work out said she made fun of her about that. She didn't make fun of her about it. She just pointed out that judges don't do that kind of stuff. They're not going to jeopardize their judicial seat to call somebody names like that. They just don't do it.
I highly doubt that her ex-husband was a golfing buddy of any judge.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't her ex-husband. It was her ex-husband's lawyer and the judge that were friends, supposedly.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, I was in a little town, and my first husband, his family, his brother hired a lawyer that was affiliated supposedly with the mob and stuff. I'm just telling you what I was told. And I can remember him out in the hallway talking, and that lawyer looked at my ex-husband and his family said, you ain't got a snowball chance of hell of getting those kids from her. You got nothing. I don't know why you all even hired me. There's nothing I can do. You're not going to get the kids. They're going to stay with their mom. He has a drinking problem, and he is abusive and hurts people, and the judge is not going to award those kids to him. And that's exactly what happened. It didn't happen. Yeah. So, and it was a little town. I mean, everybody knew everybody. It just was.
I've actually wondered recently with how far the pendulum has swung in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually wondered recently if maybe it wasn't better before the laws, because even though the courts didn't discuss domestic violence for the most part, even though law enforcement oftentimes didn't even respond, at least women knew the danger they were in.
Right.
I think nowadays there's so much shit hitting the fan with false accusations flying that a lot of people, and even, in my opinion, Christopher Watts, people don't even know it when they're being abused, and they don't know the danger they're in when they're leaving the relationship.
Well, I've seen a couple of men that were beat black and blue from what their wife did to them, and they never reported them. But they belonged to groups where there was domestic violence, and they were victims of a wife that beat them and battered them badly.
And remember, we had that one guy hop up on the panel talking about how his wife beat him and how when the police came, that they were actually laughing at him.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I've said right from the start of discussing this case that I think we need to stop calling shelters women's shelters. I think we need to call them family shelters, and we have to promote awareness that men can be abused too. These laws that have been passed, within a year or two, the judges began to wonder who the heck was telling the truth and who the heck was lying.
Right.
You know, back in the day before the laws, I think, even though, again, they didn't even want to entertain the issue of domestic violence, it was not one of the best interest factors. They pretty much didn't want to talk about it. But the judges cared, they were aware, and they did whatever they could do to protect the kids.
Right. Well, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, they're supposed to put the children
focus.
right.
Yes.
And it shouldn't matter whether it's a man that's a victim or a woman that's a victim. The children are all victims too. So it should be family places like that, because they're just as much, kids are a bigger part of the situation than the adults. They can't get out of it by themselves. The adults can't.
Men need to know that there is help available.
Right.
They need to know. I met a woman one time when I was doing my undergrad in psychology. It was out on the East Coast. And I met a woman one time because we did a lot. And in fact, for my statistics class too, for psychology, we did a lot of different things with this agency right in town. And there was a woman who had just beat up her husband, and she had court ordered, like, group, whatever. So
Uh-huh.
they included her in on the group that was there for women who had been harmed by their husbands. They put this abuser in there simply because she was female, right?
Oh
But
gosh.
that was a good report for my women's studies, let me tell you. And she sat there, and somebody said to her, like, "Are you sorry for what you did?" And she laughed. She said, "Hell no, I'll do it again." She was like terrible. And
Mhm.
I observed it going like, this is not okay. This
No,
is,
it's not.
she shouldn't have been in that group. And I think, of course, they learned that within minutes, right? But, she was very clearly very rough, very tough, I'm saying rough and tough to be polite. She didn't give a shit what she did to him. And she broke
Mhm.
his nose. She was bragging about that.
Gosh.
She broke his nose, and she'd do it again. And, she just thought she was the, Queen Sheba or something.
Well, and there are men that will take that abuse from a woman and never lay a hand on them. There are.
Yeah. Well, they can't. They
Hmm.
can't. If
No.
if he would have swung back, he would have been arrested.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to change. It needs to change. We need to be able to look at the issue of domestic violence through a gender-free lens.
Yeah. It's just like with SW when she locked CW out. I mean, and hit him and pushed
Yeah,
him out,
right.
kicked him out the door and did all that.
Yeah,
If that had
covered.
been her, he would have been in jail. But because it was her, she didn't go to jail.
Yeah, she
Just the
clobbered him.
opposite. Yeah.
And the way the story goes, it was because he voiced his opinion, and it was evidently different than her opinion on something that didn't even
Hmm.
matter. And she clobbered him, and then physically pushed him right out the door, and locked
And
the
that
door.
I think was before they were even married, wasn't it? So yeah,
Yep,
that
that's in my book, my Walking on Eggshells book, under the heading Lessons Learned,
yeah,
where I write about how it isn't just the lessons that the victim of domestic violence learns, because of course he learned right then and there, better not ever disagree with her, because look at what happens. She's got that rage, she's got that temper that everyone wants to say, oh, she was just a strong woman. That is not strength.
mm.
That is not strength to be, a maniac who goes charging toward your mother-in-law accusing her of attempted murder. That is not strength. It
Well,
isn't.
and her dad said her legs could really mess you up if she wanted them to. So
There's nothing strong about losing your temper and pounding on your husband. I mean, that is not
exactly.
strength. But in my lessons learned section, I'm writing about how, yes, those lessons matter. That's important, because Christopher Watts would have learned right then and there that there was a line he wasn't able to cross without pissing her off and risking being harmed. But
Mm.
the other lesson, and the more dangerous lesson that is learned from that type of an altercation, is that the abuser learns, if you don't leave that relationship, then the abuser learns they can get away with physically hurting you.
Right.
And of course they're going to go, oh, I'll never do that again, although I highly doubt she ever said that. But many times they may say, oh, gee, I'm bad, my bad, I won't do that again. Yes, they will. Yes, they will do it again, because if you stay after being physically abused, if you stay, then you are saying to them, you may as well say to them, you can go ahead and hit me, and I'm going to just stay here and take it. That's
Right.
the dangerous lesson that's learned, is not so much what the victim learns, but what the abuser learns, because you are giving them carte blanche to beat on you again. And let me tell you, probably just a statistics, pulled from thin air, 9 times out of 10, they are going to hit you again, and it's going to be worse the next time.
Oh yeah, they'll try to kill you eventually.
And
Mark my word, it gets worse. Yeah.
even if they accidentally.
Hmm.
Oh, I just saw your thing. You hold on here. You hear me typing?
Yeah.
There. I just saw that
Okay.
little red thing.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. Okay.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Mm, yeah. There's something else I wanted to add. I know I was going to ask, did, I was going to ask the chat if they ever went back and watched that 45-minute makeup tutorial I tried to tell everybody. It's not the one that she did with him that night, where she was bossing him around saying he'll do anything she tells him to, and he's doing the laundry and they're getting ready for the trip. It's the one that earlier that day that she did, and it was 45 minutes long. If you get a chance before that's gone, go look at it because it's got, wow, it was eye-opening to a lot of people. That's the one that I went over on the other channel and overdid. We went over that video because it's telling. I'm just telling you, it's very telling of the disconnect from those children. It is. Yeah. In
Yeah,
45
I
minutes,
don't
she
think
could not tolerate those children at all.
I don't think they
Mm,
ever bonded.
nope. Not at all. And just constantly blaming them for every single thing that didn't go right. Yep.
Think about how little time Bella spent out of her bedroom
Hmm.
or out of daycare. So how many times did she hear that she was a monster?
Yeah. Well, and even the rooms, the best that I can recollect from seeing the rooms, they didn't have anything. Those rooms were kept dark and they didn't have access to any books or any lights or anything. I never seen any lamps or anything in those rooms. Nothing on their dressers, nothing. No books, anything.
Oh,
I don't even,
they're calling out for Honey Badger. Look at that. Samantha saying, Honey Badger.
yeah, where is she? We haven't heard from her for a while.
Honey Badger, where are you?
Hmm.
Boy, it'd be interesting to hear what Honey Badger thinks about the recent.
Oh, I'd love to hear what she thinks about all this stuff. It's just so ridiculous. It just is. And at first I'm gonna say I was kind of opposed to Dave going there and doing it, but I'm not now. I think he
Yeah,
may open the door wide up because I do think that it could have been handled. He could have handled it a little differently. I don't think he should even let anybody know he was going there or what his intentions were. Not leaked it to a soul. That's what I'm saying. I
I
don't think
agree.
it should have been leaked out at all. He would have had a much better chance of doing what he wanted to do without all this harassing and all this stuff going on right now. That's for sure.
Well, I agree. I think that it would have been better to not have said a word about going. And, I think I was wrong to take such a strong stance on it. But I know that I just feel like cemeteries are more sacred than that.
I agree with you on that. I sure do.
But at this point, I'm actually glad he went. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I am
I'm glad
too.
he
Yeah,
went.
I agree. Totally. Yeah.
I'm glad he went, and I hope he goes ahead and respects the fact that he has been elected by this
Yeah.
town to create a petition on behalf of Ronnie and Cindy Watts. So
Whether he knows it or not, right?
exactly, he'll know it when he hears this video.
Well, I'm sure some of his mods know how to get a hold of him, to let him know what's going on. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure of that. But it is an idea, and I'm glad you put it out there because you know, it may bring attention to how one-sided that this is and how unfair it is to the Watts. Totally. It's just totally so unfair, and it has been from day one. It just has been.
right. And I think that Ronnie and Cindy deserve to have the ability. It's that simple. They deserve to be able to go to their grandchildren's burial site and to sit there and to think and pray and I don't know, eat a sandwich or whatever. They deserve to put little flowers and water the little flowers. They deserve to do whatever the other side of the family can do without being watched by the other side of the family. To me, that is so offensive. I think we lost Paula.
No, I'm here. I'm putting my dog out. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. It went really quiet all of a sudden. I'm like, uh-oh. Yes, I think they do. I think Ronnie and Cindy richly deserve to be able to go to the cemetery without having a camera watching them. And I hope Dave accepts the challenge. And
I do
starts
too. I really do, because something needs to be done. And, I don't, should have thought about it earlier. Maybe he should have gone there, maybe with Ronnie to that church and drew attention to what's going on. Maybe
right.
they're unaware of it, I don't know how they could not be,
Well, it depends too, because if the other side of the family approached the church members and said, we're so concerned there's going to be vandals, there's, oh, we're so concerned, then I'm sure the church was just trying to help.
Wow.
If Ronnie and Cindy don't have a voice in that situation, they need to get a voice.
Yeah. Well, the church could have put something out there from the church, directing it right like that. Their concerns.
Right. Why are they allowing a private person to post surveillance equipment?
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And you can't say the police, they don't act like they know anything about it either, Yeah.
So it really comes down to the question. I mean, legally, probably, right? They have the right to do that as private property, blah, blah, blah. If the property owner gives permission, then nobody's breaking any laws or anything. But we're not talking legally. We're talking about a person's right to go to their grandchildren's burial site without being watched by people who have been very vocal against them.
Yeah.
If they were one big happy family, whatever. They're not one big happy family.
No. I think this is just another way for them to stir the drama up in the YouTube community and get these few people left to go in and attack us again, is what I think. Yeah.
You remember how I was checking? Let me do this. Remember how I was checking and I was like, this is weird. There's a certain channel that has 36 or 38,000 subscribers, but they only had 3 comments and stuff like that. Remember that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh. Let's see here. I'm just, randomly looking at a channel that has 38,000 subscribers.
Right.
Okay. There's one comment that got 297 comments. Okay.
Okay.
That was 2 days ago. 297 comments.
Yeah.
Okay. And then keep in mind, we're told there are 38,000 subscribers. So 297 out of 38,000.
Yeah. That's not good, is it? No, it doesn't make sense. Their statistics are way off.
That's less than 1%, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. And I might be wrong because mental math isn't my thing. Well, yeah, I guess
it's right at that. Yeah.
Yeah, less than 1%. So, okay, two days ago, the same number of subscribers, of course, there are only 231 comments. Okay. 3 days ago, there are only 118 comments. And 3 days ago, get this, 35. In 3 days, 35. That's 11.2 per day.
Right.
Yeah. Right? 11.2. So I am good at mental math. That was a fast one. Here's another one 3 days ago, 20 comments. 3 days ago, 18 comments. That's 6 per day. 6 per day. 4 days ago, 184 comments. 4 days ago, 277 comments. Isn't that interesting? 5 days ago, 20 comments.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting how some posts get nearly 300? and other posts get all but ignored.
I guess it depends on what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's all pretty consistent. I wonder if it depends on how many accounts are lining up to post something.
That could be too. You know, how many people are available to go in there and do it. Yeah.
Or I'm not sure how the whole thing works if people buy things, but they maybe can't buy them for 3 or 4 different comments. Maybe they can only buy them per comment.
Well, I think you're talking. I think they have to have an account to comment. They have to have individual accounts to make comments on different accounts. So they would. I don't
No,
think you.
you can buy those.
Oh, you can.
Yeah. You know how sometimes in the chat it'll come in with those, what do they call them? Something bots?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can buy those.
You mean you can buy your subs, but can you buy the comments?
You can buy subs, you can buy likes, you can buy comments, you can buy
Wow.
all sorts of stuff. You're not supposed to do certain things and you can get in trouble if they find out. But yeah, you can buy all sorts of stuff.
Who would want to keep up with all that stuff? I wouldn't. That's
Well,
crazy.
I guess if you wanted people to think that you had a lot of people who are believing what you're saying and who support what you're saying, then maybe.
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we've said it before. I think there are far fewer people even discussing this case than what we've been led to believe.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's, but I don't think there's maybe a couple handfuls out there. Not much more than that. Yeah. And just think, if you got 10 people out there and they've each one got 25, 50 accounts, look how much damage they can do, you know?
Right. Exactly. Especially if they're psycho and they have manic phases where they go 3 days straight, 24/7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I do agree with what Marge is saying. I do believe some people have changed their minds after 4 years about what happened. They may not come out and say it, but they've changed their mind.
I agree. And I think there were a lot of people who have always believed it, but who have just kind of laid low.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Well,
are,
I guarantee you there are people that did not think she was perfect and did not approve of her parenting skills whatsoever and questioned her behavior, but they weren't going to put themselves out there to be talked about. That's what I was told. I'm not putting myself out there to be talked about like you are.
that isn't even, that's bullshit, because you know what?
Mm-hmm.
They're attacking people.
Right?
They are attacking people who they targeted before
Yeah.
some of us even said anything.
Exactly. You didn't
They
even know
needed
about the stupid
scapegoats.
case they were
They
attacking.
needed
Yeah.
scapegoats to be able to say, oh, look at that. She's saying mean things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just got a notification that I got an email from my Catholic friends. Let's see. He might be seeing if we have any questions. I'm going to look here real quick. Oh, no. He's sending me an email about StreamYard and Patreon.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's going to tell you how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was whining about that when we talked. Oops. Oh, crap. Where are you?
I'm right here.
Good. I found you. I was whining about that because it's so frustrating. So he just sent me a thing with the instructions.
Okay. I figured there'd be somebody come along that could direct you. I can't, but I figured somebody could.
Well,
Yeah.
I followed those directions he was telling me on the phone, and I'm like, I did that. It doesn't work. And you know, he knows me pretty well, so he actually said to me, well, do you want me to go ahead and do it for you? I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I gotta hop online here for a little bit. So
Yeah.
So he's probably just figuring out how to do it, but
it's stupid. You shouldn't have to even go there to talk about this case. They should have just leave you alone, you know? It's crazy, you know?
right, I know it. Well, you know what though? Part of that I'm second guessing or second thinking or whatever, because I think in that time frame I was just so disgusted by all of it, right? That I'm like, enough, right? Enough. But then when I couldn't figure out and get it done and be up there, It's like we've got to do a live chat because there's just too much shit hitting the fan right now. So we just have to connect with everyone, right? And then I think it kind of makes
Right.
me mad. It actually makes me mad that we're even realizing that it's better in Patreon.
Yeah.
Like we have been harmed for nearly 4 years.
Mhm.
We have been
Yep.
harmed,
Yep.
and that's not right.
It isn't right. No.
Maybe we should start a GoFundMe.
Oh gosh.
We could write it together. We have plenty of templates to follow, right? We could say the reason we're raising money is because we need a new law to protect women from being called old hags.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
along those lines.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the old hag stuff needs to go.
I
It
tell
just
you,
does.
you've made a point over and over again, and it resonates totally. And I actually put it in one of my comments. I think that I posted on Patreon this morning, or maybe yesterday morning. I don't know. It's all a blur. But you've made the point really well many times that they seriously act like they're the only ones who have ever suffered a loss.
Right.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been through the same uh kind of a tragic loss, but I've been through a lot of losses, and I went through almost five family members in a year. So, I mean, it's just, and within 6 months, I mean, it happens, but it doesn't give me the right to go out here and go after people. It's crazy.
Exactly. It does not give anybody the right at all to harass somebody else. And I want to clarify something too. We have the right, we have the freedom, and in my opinion, we have the moral obligation to discuss issues like Munchausen by proxy with
Hmm.
this case. Those autopsies said healthy. I'm going to keep on repeating that probably too much. But those autopsies said healthy. She was lying, which means Munchausen by proxy, which
Yeah.
means why were those children still in that home? Why weren't they protected? Why were they dragged to specialist after specialist?
Hmm.
You know,
Well, I keep going back to that check the knives. Why in the world would CW's mother-in-law ask for somebody to check the knives? Unless there was a reason from the past because of an issue with a knife
yeah.
or a threat or an
Well,
injury to their self or something. I
and
mean,
we're using logic and reason. When we hear that the comment was made, check the knives, then we're going to go ahead and logically deduce that there was a history of self-harm. That
right,
is not slandering anybody. That is not defaming anybody. That is not bashing anybody. We're not jealous of anybody. We're not obsessed with anybody. If somebody's saying check the knives, we're going to say why. And then we're going to discuss the possibilities. And one strong possibility is that she had a history of self-harm.
right. And then somebody in the family put out that the reason the FBI and stuff was brought in is because there was children missing. That is not the reason why at all. That the one unit that was there, uh, because endangered unit was there because the children were considered endangered, but but for a different reason. And
They were with
I
their own mother. They were
yeah,
presumed to be with their own mother, and they were considered endangered missing.
so they had to be endangered from her to be listed like that because that's who they were supposed to be with, right? But to blame it on that, we don't get it that uh, that's the FBI was brought in because of that. No, that had nothing to do with that because there were missing children. Missing children, a lot of children are missing long before the FBI is ever involved, and a lot of them never are involved unless it goes statewide or something. You know.
If there's a mother and two children that they can't find, what, 2 hours, 3 hours went by,
Hmm.
5 hours at the most, not even that long. If they can't find somebody in 5 hours on a weekday, a woman and her 2 kids. Don't most people think that maybe they went to the I don't know, to the spa or something, or to the pool, or to, I don't know, maybe they hopped in the car with a close friend and went on a little day trip or something, right?
Well, they sure jumped on it quick. And why did they jump on it quick? Because apparently, when the kids didn't show up for school, she wasn't supposed to be alone with them. Only thing I can figure out, nobody knew where she was at or the kids were at. That's the way I see it.
I think whoever was scheduled to be in charge of her that day,
They dropped the bomb or the ball on that one.
dropped the
Yep,
ball.
big time. Yep, sure did. Hmm.
I just looked because my dog just looked out the window fast. I'm like, not again, not again. But I don't see one, so far so good.
Well, he's probably on guard.
Yeah, he probably. Well, Chippy the chipmunk has been up here staring at him, and so that's a good sign, because when the raccoons are around, the chipmunks stay further away.
It's like Mandy saying, it is all there in her videos. The child abuse is right there that she did to
Yes.
those kids. It's there in her own videos. It's her own words, her own actions. Nobody but hers. Yeah.
When poor little Bella was hungry and she said she wanted a bite, and her mother said, "Oh, you want a laptop? Well, what do we do when we want something? We put it on the vision board." You know what? I am so tired of the scumbag attackers trying to pretend that she actually asked for a laptop.
Yeah. They
That's
try
what
to
they're
twist
saying.
and turn that now, too. Yeah.
Yep. That little girl was hungry. Oh, yes. Holly, good one. There you go.
Yeah. Those rectal temps. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say it again just to be like bugging everybody. Those autopsy reports said they were healthy. That means she was lying.
Hmm.
Lying about
And
her
if the family wants to go along with her being sick and having all those problems and illnesses and the children, then they're part of the lie too. Sorry, but they're not bringing us any proof to prove anything other. And when the autopsies say they were all healthy, that's what I'm going by.
Well, and the way Cindy Watts talked about it, even with the Benadryl and Tylenol, how it bothered her that her daughter-in-law was giving the girls. Remember how she said that they would tilt their heads back when they saw her
Little
walking
birds, yeah.
toward them with a syringe in her hand? Syringe?
Hmm.
Are you kidding me? You know, it's probably one of those big plastic things so she could measure whatever. But I mean, I'm surprised that I'm just surprised myself. I would have been saying, like, to me, it just seems obvious. 2 children do not share all of the diseases and illnesses that she claimed they shared.
Hmm.
There's no way 2 children need the same doses of anything at the same time.
Did she say whether she ever questioned SW about that?
No, in fact, that's when she said the words walking on eggshells.
Oh, yeah. That's what I figured.
She did feel like it was wrong. She did worry about it a lot. But she said she also just kind of figured, because she said that her daughter-in-law said that the doctor told her to. I highly doubt that any doctor advised any parent ever on this planet Earth to dose up their kids every night with Benadryl and Tylenol and stick them behind locked bedroom doors for 12 hours straight.
And Benadryl is one of the worst drugs you can give somebody if they have asthma. So
Exactly. How on earth can they be claiming asthma and also Benadryl and Tylenol? Like,
and then locked behind doors for
yes, if your
12
child
hours.
has
Yeah.
asthma, do not lock their bedroom door.
But nobody wants to touch on that stuff that we make sense about. It's just the stuff that they think that they can tear apart. Nothing that makes sense, or even nobody will even go. These people won't even go in there and try to, other than saying, well, she said laptop. No, she didn't say laptop. I've listened to it at least 100 times. She never said laptop. No, she said, I want a bite. Yeah. You be quiet.
She was hungry. And
Mhm.
once again, she was an object, not a person.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. She didn't treat them. I mean, they're just, I'm telling you, I never seen in any videos any bond with those kids at all. None. There just wasn't a mother-child bond. And I don't buy for a second they were ever breastfed. I'm sorry. I don't believe that.
I don't believe it at all.
Mm-mm.
You
Nope.
guys want to do a mock trial?
I think that would be so much fun.
If you guys want to do a mock trial, put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 if you don't. If you want to do a mock trial, put a 1 and then put the name of who you would like to be in a mock trial. If any of you would like to be in a mock trial. I get to be on the prosecution team.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I can't be on the defense team. No.
Well, we could
mean-
be on the prosecution team, Paula, you and me, and we could just
Mhm.
we could just file the motion to dismiss
Yes.
and just say that the state has no evidence to move forward on.
Yeah. I want to bring me proof of this saint-hooded woman here. Please show me the proof. I want to see that. Yeah.
So I guess really we should be on the defense.
Oh gosh.
Oh, good. We have a lot of jurors lining up. Good.
That's
Okay.
good.
We have Brooks wants to be a juror. Sebastian wants to be a juror. Marge wants to be criminal defense. Okay. We have Star Mama and Marge.
Mhm.
And then I want to at least do part of the opening statement and part of the closing argument.
Yeah, but who's going to be the judge?
Yeah, we need a good judge. Rachel wants
I'd love to see Honey Badger up there as a judge, but
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
she's that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
SB wants to be a Frederick Police Department patrol witness. Yes,
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. I bet there won't be any volunteers for Nate either.
Samantha says she'll be NA or SR. All right.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Let's see here. Or do we have any more jurors? Manifold? Is that what it says? Yeah, Manifold wants to be a juror. Good. Let's see. Samantha wants to be SW? No.
Who? Really?
What are you going to do? Do it like an Alexis Carrington walk in the jury? Do you remember that episode?
Yeah.
I met an
Do-
Alexis.
And do not wear no leopard dress.
Yeah, really?
No.
I met an Alexis the other day, a really sweet young gal. And I'm like, oh, I bet you were named after Alexis Carrington. And she looked at me like, and I realized she has no clue who Alexis Carrington is.
Oh, probably not.
And I said, well, it was on an episode of Dallas, actually. It was Blake Carrington's, not Dallas, Dynasty.
Yeah,
I said-
Dynasty. Mhm.
I said it was Blake Carrington's ex-wife. And she's just looking at me like, what's Dynasty?
They don't even, a lot of people don't know what Dallas was about, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't feel old. No, I didn't feel old at all.
No. But there was a lot of videos though where she even said that Bella was, how'd she say it? Angry.
Like hangry.
Angry. Yeah,
'Cause
she was angry.
hungry.
Yeah. But she wouldn't give her anything.
Yep.
She's I'm gonna give her, she wants some chip and dip. Oh, that's real filling, appetizing.
Well, and my theory is that she didn't have alone time with the kids. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that things like marshmallows and there's my bell that I had out for the depth trial. I think that the whole idea of chips and marshmallows and chocolate chips and whatever, that fits with the theory that she didn't have alone time with the kids.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think it was in her brain about dinner and whatever. I don't. I'm
Well,
searching through.
I never seen her cook anything on there. I heard her tell about cooking, but I never seen her cook anything other than the cookies and
the
prepped
egg.
a prime rib and did those hard-boiled eggs. But
Yeah, she
made
was pretty
egg
fancy
salad.
with those eggs, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't that so she could peel them?
yeah. And then because she said she made him egg salad because he liked it for his lunch. But then they ate about 18 hard-boiled eggs a week. Just her and him. The girls didn't eat them. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah, because she said Bella was allergic to them, remember?
Oh yeah, she picked them out of the potato salad. Yeah,
Right. At age 1, I think it was, she would reach in and grab the eggs out because she knew she was allergic to them.
I don't believe that either. Mm-mm.
I don't either. I don't think those kids had any of the stuff she said. Okay, I just got my notebook all set here. Got my pen. I hope the pen writes. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up. I remember back when we were doing the mock trial that all of a sudden shit hit the fan. Remember?
Oh yeah, how could I forget that? Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to expect shit to hit the fan again, but whatever.
Well, at least we're starting it this time. You know, more so than somebody else. I think was trying to want to get that started back then. Wasn't it a troll that wanted to get that going or something?
Well, those were
Found out.
the 3 that were working for one of the original Scumbag
Yeah.
Attackers. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Mm.
I'm scrolling down here. Where did we start with it? I scrolled too far. Come on, come on, come on.
And there's people that I guess aren't here. I don't know if Mrs. Ben's here or Christy or any of them. Sure, they would like to be part of it.
I'm scrolling down here to see. Okay, we have. Oh, Samantha was talking about something else about SW. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Samantha. Okay, Manifold and Marge. Okay, Manifold juror. I'll just do juror
Mm-hmm.
and then start a jury list. Manifold. And then criminal defense. You want to be on the defense team, right? Or no?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can wait and see what's left. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to be SW though. Nope. 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 We need somebody to be CW too. Any volunteers? Men? Any men in there? Where are our guys at? Where's that Paul T and some of them at? I
Yeah.
haven't seen them forever.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange not to see them at all.
Well, it's summer. It's summer.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think, with golf and everything, probably. SB Frederick Police Department.
I don't know. It's been 110 here. And I don't think anybody's worried about golfing this weekend.
Wow.
They got heat advisories, not even be out in heat if you don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's way hot.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was 106 is what it actually showed on the thermometer yesterday. And
Oh
with
my
the heat
goodness.
index, it was 110. Yeah. Really, it's been hot since April. Unusual.
Spacebound wants to be Chris's friend.
Which one?
Do you mean Jeremy? Spacebound, do you want to be Jeremy? Is that who you mean or who?
Because he had friends that he worked with, supposedly.
Right. Oh, dang. It just scrolled really fast. Dang it.
But I think Jeremy was probably the most honest one about that whole entire, about him and her, actually, of what he's seen and stuff. Now,
I'm still
somebody
Googling.
might have to play double parts, like somebody might have to maybe play the babysitter too, since it's short part, not much there.
Spacebound says NK or that friend that has Chris's back. Jane wants to be a juror. Spacebound says NK. So Jane juror, and Spacebound NK. Okay. What am I missing? Jeanette defense. We
We're
need
gonna have to have somebody be
prosecutor.
SR. We need Junior. We're gonna need all of them space filled, or people might have to play 2 and 3 parts.
We need NA,
Her son.
JR, SR, FR. Oh, Jackie's going to be Dieter. Ooh, that'll be a good one.
Oh boy. We need NA son too.
Yep. Yeah, we have questions.
Mm-hmm.
SB says, I want to see HB as SR.
Oh, really?
That'd be a good one.
Mm.
She can talk like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Private Pirate says Honey Badger should be the prosecutor.
She needs, I think, or else you need to be the judge. Somebody needs to be a judge, man. That's going to be.
I think that I think I just got them all. Okay. Ugh. When I go to scroll, it goes faster. Honey Badger would make a good judge because she could say, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
Or she could say, "Shut the F up."
Yeah.
PM Ready says judge. You want to be the judge, PM Ready? As I say these things, if I'm wrong, just correct me, everyone, because I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm scrolling. We might have to have 2 judges, though.
I mean, you're not rolling, rawhide. Nobody would remember that either. That's been way long ago. I ask people, what about Gunsmoke? They go, huh? What's Gunsmoke? I go, oh,
that was a good show, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked those. I had a lot of respect for him, actually. James Arnaz. I thought he's a pretty cool guy, even in real life. Yeah.
Did Linda Evans play that part? No, Jane. That was Joan Collins. And Linda Evans was Blake's wife, and Joan Collins was his ex-wife.
Mm-hmm. And old Festus on Gunsmoke, he was pretty cool too.
Yeah. PM knew it was Joan Collins.
Mm-hmm. Some people probably know who we're talking about. Not a lot of people. Even Wagon Train, people say, what is Wagon Train? You know. Okay. Or Bonanza. They don't know that stuff.
I liked Bonanza. Little Joe was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Haas was really good until he got sick and died in real life, though. That was really sad.
Manifold says that she hates pasta and her child hates pasta, so she can't be certain roles. Okay, now let's see. I think I've got everything, but if you didn't hear me say your name and you said something, go ahead and tell me again. Namas Stella says CW? You want to be CW? Samantha says I was SR then. Samantha, do you want to be SR? See, I'm going to screw this up, you guys. Kellish says juror. Okay. We have a lot of jurors. That's good.
Yeah. They probably already got their minds made up. Do we have a biased jury? Probably.
Marge says I'll do a semi-opening after you. Yeah, we can split the openings and the arguments. That'd be good. Mm-hmm. That'd be good. And, by the time we're done with the opening, Marge, what's going to happen? The jury's going to say, let's just vote now.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. It did it again. Heather Lackler before her teeth work. Oh,
gosh.
Carly says, I love you all.
Oh, that's nice. Because there's not very many people that love us. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, really. Spread the love. We need it because people hating on us.
Yeah, we're on a lot of hate lists, big time.
Okay, Namastella is CW. Jane says, y'all are talking about the shows I grew up on. My sister named her daughter Audra from that show.
Oh, from, what was that one?
Was it that Knots
Landing? The Barclays. No, the Barclays played in.
That one.
Audra Barkley. Yeah, the Barclays. Remember woman who had the ranch. What was the name of that? Used to watch that all the time. I swear, my mind.
Yeah, I can picture her.
Yeah, Linda Evans played her, and uh, her two brothers, and she had three brothers. Lee Majors played the new arrival. That was the son from um, the father's illegal affair or something, and then Barbara.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't.
yeah.
Stanwyck. What was her name? Barbara. And what was that woman's name?
Yes, was it Barbara
Yeah,
Stanwyck?
yeah. She played the mother on there, and the woman. Yeah.
Yeah, she's at the
Mhm.
bottom of the stairs, and she's got that nice hairstyle and everything, and she smiles nice at the
Yeah.
opening.
Hmm. Yeah. It
Big
shows them.
Valley, Big Valley.
The Big Valley. Yes, I love that show. And they were nice people. They did a lot of stuff for people. They didn't care if you had money or not. It wasn't a issue to them.
It was a
They
good
liked
show.
you. They liked you. Yeah.
And it was a reflection, I think, of the world back then, that people were
Yes.
actually human,
Hmm.
caring, nice people.
And if they gave somebody their word or handshake, they kept it, no matter what. You know, there's several episodes where there was
Right,
a handshake or a word.
exactly.
Yeah, and they made sure that was fulfilled. Yeah.
And it mattered. It mattered.
Oh yeah.
Namastella says Linda Evans wasn't in Dallas. Yes, she was. She was Blake Carrington's wife.
Hmm.
But when she was younger, she was in the other show.
Oh yeah, when she's just a young girl, she was in
Yeah.
the Big Valley. Yeah.
And remember the sisters? What was that one? Petticoat Junction?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that one? I like that one. But I was a kid. I mean, I liked the
Yeah.
music. That one had a
Well,
lot of
I like
music.
Gilligan's Island and all them too. You
Yeah.
know. There was.
I know it. Everyone used to hate Ginger and love Mary Ann, remember?
Hmm. And I even liked I Love Lucy. I thought that
Yeah.
was fun. So yeah.
Was that you who was saying that when she was stomping the grapes, that famous episode that
Yes,
they
she actually got choked on a grape, and
Yeah.
she almost didn't make it. She sure did.
Wow.
They didn't know. They just kept filming, and she was choking on that grape. Yep.
Wow.
And you know that actually Fred and Ethel hated each other in real life. They did not like each other at all. Had no
I didn't
use
know
for each
that.
other. Oh
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
no use. Mm-mm. No.
Love Boat was another one, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good. And Fantasy Island, I remember that. The plane, they're landing. The plane.
The
Yeah,
plane.
yeah, that
Smiles,
was pretty
everybody
good.
smiles.
Yeah,
Smile.
yeah. See, those were good shows compared to what we have now. I mean,
Oh
they just
yeah. I don't even watch television anymore. I haven't watched it for years.
Mandy said we crack her up. Well, I'm glad we cracked somebody up because most people can't stand us. See, we're really not that bad if they just come over and get to know us. Give us a break. Really nice people. Yeah.
And remember Eric Estrada?
Hmm. Oh, I even remember Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best. There was a lot of good shows back then. Happy Days, yeah. Shoot.
I remember American Graffiti when it came out in the theater. Remember
Hmm.
with Ron Howard, and remember that T-Bird, that Thunderbird lady who drove through downtown?
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Hmm. Yeah. Those were the days.
Remember the movie with Diana Ross, Mahogany?
Oh, yes. Hmm.
I watched that one a lot of times. Of course, we only had 2 theaters in town, so we would watch. And if it wasn't the summer, where we had the drive-in, then we'd watch the theaters.
Hmm.
We'd watch the same movies. I think they might have 1 or 2, sometimes 2 movies. So, I think we just had 1 actually. I think we had the choice. It was either the Michigan theater or the state theater.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Pinky Tuscadero. Do you remember the one that Mackenzie Phillips was in? What would the part that she was the kid sister in American Graffiti?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and she, remember how she was like trying to come on to that guy with the Mr. Macho guy with the hot rod?
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he couldn't get rid of her. He was like, somebody take her home or something.
Do something
And,
with her. Yeah.
and then he finally pretended like he was all hot, right?
Uh huh. Uh-huh.
So he's like, oh yeah, whatever. And because she was just messing with him, trying to stay out late and be in the drag races,
Oh yeah.
And so what was his name? John something in the movie. I can't remember. But so she, I think she wouldn't get out of his car. I think is what it was. Mackenzie Phillips was just a kid then. And she wouldn't get out of his car, I think. And so he said something like, well, I think you're right. I think, he was acting all like love at first sight or something. And she totally freaked out. And she's like, 236, I think she said. I can't remember. 236 Ramona.
Yeah.
236 Ramona. That's my address. That's my because he said something like it's too late, because he was faking it that he was falling in
Right.
love with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, it's not too late. It's never too late. 236 Ramona. Take me
Right.
home.
Do you remember Petticoat Junction?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yep.
was 15 years old watching Ed Sullivan when the Beatles come to America.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Was
I
that
remember.
like 66 or something?
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Because I remember we had, like, our neighborhood would have different bands playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that Beatles type music. Like kids would run to wherever the music was, and the moms and dads
Yeah.
would come with the food later,
Yeah.
and have like yard parties and stuff and bands. And I remember that music. I mean, that we did a lot of dancing and screaming.
Yeah. My parents were very opposed to me watching that. They thought those guys looked kind of creepy, but they let me watch it anyway. That
Well, I
was
think they really
the
thought
big thing. Yeah.
I think they really thought they were going to like tear the world and ruin the world.
Mm-hmm. But they really didn't. I didn't know that so many people give Elvis Presley a hard rap too when he first started out as being
Yeah,
a bad influence, but they did.
because the way he was shaking his hips, they thought he was terrible.
Yeah. Thought he
Yep.
was. Yeah. Well, he never quit doing that. So
But after he served in the service, then they liked him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep, Mork and Mindy, the Mork from Ork.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, James Arness that played in Gunsmoke, he actually had a banged up leg from being in the military and fighting during
I
one of
didn't
the
know
wars.
that.
Yes. Him and John Wayne both were in the military. Yeah. Yes. And John Wayne was the one originally supposed to uh, take that part, but he recommended James Arness to do it. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Welcome Back, Kotter. I remember that one.
Oh yeah.
Andy Griffith. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. How can we forget Barney, Andy,
and Opie? Opie was cute.
Opie? Yeah. Aunt B. Aunt B was
Opie,
always taking care of everything, watching after everybody.
Opie was my age.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you had an Aunt B?
Yeah.
Raising your babies. Wouldn't that have been nice to have an Aunt B move right in?
But I never did really hear what happened. I knew his mother died, but I think she got sick, but I never really remember him telling much about what actually happened to her. It wasn't really discussed that much,
I have no idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and who was the Nelson family? There's the Nelson family.
Otis Campbell, remember him?
Yes.
Is that the guy who was always in jail?
Yeah, he's always drunk, yeah. In town drunk, yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of good shows then.
I would have definitely loved to have an Aunt B. That would have been wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, everybody could use an Aunt B in their life, yeah. Mm-hmm. World would be a different place.
Mandy says my dad thought the Beatles were bad because they said yeah. Yes.
We were told to say yes. Yeah, that sounds right. they really had a lot of tragedy in their lives too, actually. If you think about it, you know.
Yeah. And you know, when I was young, you remember the true crime magazines, remember?
Oh yeah.
And also the magazines like I don't know if it was the Enquirer, but it was that kind of thing, like a rag they called it.
Hmm.
I
Star
remember,
Magazine, all them. Yeah, remember 'em.
I remember pictures of Elizabeth Taylor with that Cleopatra movie.
Oh yeah, I watched that. She was good in that. Yeah,
She was beautiful, like
yeah.
beautiful.
That's when what's his name fell in love with her too.
Richard
Um,
Burton, was
yeah,
that during the Cleopatra movie?
yeah. They fell in love with each other, and you know he bought her at one time. She had the biggest diamond in the world. Was the one that he bought her.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, it was the biggest diamond in the world at that time. Yeah, and it was huge. Yeah.
Little House on the Prairie was good too.
Hmm.
Yeah, they really had the wild love, didn't they?
Yeah, they were up and down even in real life with their relationship, you know.
Yep.
Started out, you know, and I think it was just a lot of people wouldn't stay out of their life. That's what it was. You know, I've always kind of said with Elvis Presley's marriage, I think it would have made it, they just to give her, his wife and daughter, privacy. I don't think she could stand living behind those walls and never being able to go any place without them, you know, them hanging over the fence and taking pictures. I mean, that's a pretty horrible life for a
Didn't he,
child.
did he cheat on her or no?
Not that I know of. He wouldn't even sleep with her till they were married when he
Well,
brought
that's
her
good.
over here. Yeah. And, you know, she was German and from
Well, that's good.
Germany.
Wasn't she like 14 when he met her?
Yeah, but he didn't touch her though till they were married. And, you know, their daughter was born exactly 9 months, I think, and 2 days to the date they were married.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah. And he told her that he wouldn't, you know, they stayed in separate rooms. He wouldn't have anything to do with her until they were married. And I've always respected him for that.
Yeah,
No, as
that
far as
is.
I know, he never, people may have talked about it, but I don't even remember her ever suggesting such a thing. You know, she just said that it was impossible to have a life because the they were paparazzi was trying to climb the walls and take pictures, and they didn't have any privacy. She couldn't even go out with the daughter and play or do anything that they weren't, you know, trying to climb over the wall and take pictures. That's the way they were back there. They just
Yeah,
were
it's
so
really sad
aggressive.
it's really sad that they split.
Hmm. Because I think he was all. I think that was his true love, and he was always in love with her. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I know she remarried sometime later, but as far as I know, he never remarried. As far as
He
I
was
know.
dating I think he was dating that Linda lady
Yeah.
when he died.
But I don't think he would ever remarried. I just don't think it was in him to ever. I think she was his true love, and that was it. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's tragic too. He died so young, and it could have been prevented. I think if people left him alone too, you know,
Yeah.
um, he just couldn't. He just said he couldn't sleep. You know, he couldn't wake up. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't live. You know, it was just people. You know, having to please everybody all the time.
Marge said he was with Ginger. Was Linda before that? I think there was a Linda.
Yeah,
So there was a Ginger. Okay. He was with Ginger when he died, she said.
yeah. But I know when I went to Graceland and visited and went in there, they've never. The only person that was ever allowed to go upstairs was Lisa Marie's husband.
Really?
Hmm. One time, yeah, he
Cool.
went up there. It was what is that guy's name? He's an actor. I can't think of his name. She's married to him for a while.
Danny,
No, this was
oh, it's a different one.
hmm well, maybe it was her mother. No, it wasn't. Was it Priscilla? No, it wasn't Priscilla. It was her. Um, oh my gosh, he's played in I don't know how many movies. I just cannot think of his name right now. But he was the only one that was ever allowed upstairs. That was one area that they said they never let people go up there and know his anything about his room or his personal life was up there. They wanted to keep that quiet. I don't think Elvis ever dated Anne Margaret. They were friends. They did movies, but I don't think he ever actually dated her. Not that I know. He may have, but I just don't recall him doing that much because he's in the military and stuff too, pretty young. So, and he
They
met
sure,
her. He
they
met
sure had
Priscilla.
chemistry. If they weren't dating, they sure had good chemistry.
Hmm. They may had a fling, yeah. But I think that was before Priscilla come in the picture, wasn't it?
Well, he did a lot of movies before he went in the service, I think, but then
Hmm.
I think they did movies afterwards too.
Because he met her when he was over in Germany. I know that. That's where he met Priscilla. He
Yeah.
brought her back, yeah. And she was a looker too, you know.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful girl. Three's Company was another good one.
Oh yeah.
I
That
love
was
Chris.
another sad story about John Ritter, the way he died. That was just so sudden and so unexpected, and could have been really prevented if they had realized he had that tear in the aorta. They could have before it got bad. He may have been able to be saved, but he hadn't been
Well,
feeling good. He hadn't been feeling good for 2 days, so those were kind of warning signs.
yeah,
Um,
but sometimes it can be even like something they just can't save, you know?
right, I know that, yeah. But I
Nick
know his wife
Cage.
told about that he'd been complaining him not feeling good the day before, and then earlier that day he said he hadn't been feeling good at all. Nicholas Cage. That's who was allowed up there. Nicholas Cage. Was,
That
yeah,
Nicholas Cage married Elvis's daughter?
was with her or married to her or something. That's the only one that was allowed upstairs that I know of.
Oh, I
That
didn't know that.
hmm They may have just been living together. I don't know if they was married or not. They were together. Yeah, but that's who it was. What got to go upstairs there? Yeah. He said he felt quite honored because he's the only one that ever been allowed up there.
Cozy says, okay, let's see how old you guys really are. Sky King. I have no idea who Sky King is.
Superman and all them, but not Sky King.
I have no idea who Sky King is. So evidently we're young, Paula.
Is Sky King in this country or a different country or uh it doesn't ring a bell. And I'm 71, so it should. If
What
it's
does that shirt say?
I don't know. Can't see it. My eyes are not that good. I
Does
can
it
see
say something about old people?
it can say I see people, but I can't see the rest of it. It's
I
too
couldn't
little.
either.
No, it's like the blind leading the blind man. I can't see that.
That's funny.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, Two's Company was good too.
Yeah.
Two's Company. Three's Company.
Yeah, Three's Company.
I've never heard of Two's Company, but Three's Company was good.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
know
that was funny.
after dinner, like kids didn't sit in front of the television like they do now or in front of the
Mm-hmm.
computer, whatever. We didn't have computers, but
Right.
there was dinner time, there was time for television, but you better be ready for bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much we didn't get to pick what we watched. Like we did not have control over the knob.
Right. Mm.
And you damn well better behave or you're going to bed. you know,
Yeah.
staying up to watch TV was a privilege.
I can remember sitting watching Gone with the Wind with my mom those several times. We used to like to watch Gone with the Wind, the movie. Yeah.
We watched Elvis Presley movies.
Oh yeah, and that too. But yeah.
I mean, we would pull the drapes across the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Those super big windows, we'd pull the drapes. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
yay! And we would dance right along with Elvis singing. I have no idea who Sky King was. I don't see the answer.
Me neither. I don't know who that is. Was Jeanette here earlier when we was talking about the mock trial? Did she
Yeah,
sign up?
Jeanette. Yep,
Did she
Jeanette's
sign
on
up?
the list. Yep. Let me
Okay.
see what Jeanette is. Let's see.
I didn't remember hearing her name.
Jeanette, where are you? Oh, Jeanette's on the defense.
Okay.
Yes, Lawrence Welk. I was just going to say Lawrence Welk.
Oh yes, Lawrence Welk show.
And the Tonight Show, too.
Mm.
I know. I'm trying to think. It seems
We
like
used to watch Bob Hope and Phyllis Diller and all them. They were funny.
my grandmother
Ed Skeleton. Yeah.
couldn't stand Phyllis Diller, couldn't stand Carol Burnett.
I didn't too much. I wasn't too much about Carol Burnett, but I liked Phyllis Diller and when her and Red Skeleton and Bob Hope and Lucy when they'd all get they could cut up, boy. They could
And
have
it
you
was,
rolling.
and it was a live show too.
Yes.
They didn't have the luxury of all this fancy technology.
Right.
Well, is anyone else getting tired? I'm getting tired.
We've been going 3 hours.
I know it. I just looked and it's 3 hours and however many minutes.
I mean, almost 6 minutes. Yep.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. We've accomplished a lot, I think, actually. Touched a lot of points.
Well, that's good too, because then the Scumbag Attackers will have to burn up 3 hours of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Sit there with their little notebooks to be listening for any little word that they can use, right?
Right. Or it'll give them more to come after us about one way or the other.
Yeah,
exactly. You never know what they're going to do, Then it might go real quiet again. Who knows?
Well, I hope it does. I really hope. I hope for everybody who has signed on to try to harm innocent people that they realize they need to just move on. We're so tired of their shit.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
And notice they don't come in and discuss the case, right?
Oh no.
They don't care about the case.
You have to have a brain to do that. And I don't think any of them think with one half the time. Or if they have one, they sure don't use it.
Nope, they're just here to try to hurt people.
Mm-hmm. They love the drama. That's for sure.
Golden Girls is another good one, Paula.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Golden Girls was good.
Benny Hill, you mean? Benny Hill was funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my grandpa used to like to watch the fighters, the wrestlers. He used to think that stuff was real. He'd really get into that.
My grandparents really like country music, so
yeah.
Merle Haggard, the Hee Haw thing. Remember that Hee Haw show?
Mm-hmm.
The Grand Ole Opry, all that stuff.
Minnie Pearl, I think, was on Hee Haw, wasn't she?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
With her hat, with the tag.
Yeah.
Yes, Blanche was my favorite too on the Golden Girls. She was my favorite too. She was such a ditz, but she was hilarious, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, she sure had a lot of men after her all the time, didn't she?
Yeah. She was the loose one, right? And then Mama, what's her name? B. Arthur's mother would always stand there 2 feet tall and just go, "Yeah, you slut."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
B. Arthur would say something. What was her name? Maud, I think.
Yeah.
She would say, well, she's right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then come along, what's her name? And she'd always be dressed nice and so polite. And oh my gosh, can talk like that stuff. I can't remember her name. My mind is so bad tonight. I've been too preoccupied with all this bullshit.
Bullshit is exactly what it is. I think we should just change the title to saying something like "More Bullshit, Different Day" or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. Yeah, I'm tired. Let's go ahead and call it a night.
Well, your coffee lasted you 3 hours anyway.
Yeah, really. I know 3 hours is too long, though.
Yeah.
When I clicked on it, I'm like, okay, let's do this for an hour. That sounds about right. And then at 2 hours, we must have been talking about something interesting because I blew right past the 1 hour.
Yeah, going back with in history about what all we've been going through for 4 years, and it still goes quiet, and then they come at you every time you hit a sore spot, man. That they just come after you hot and heavy. Wow.
Yeah, and they can just stop it.
Yeah.
It's such old news.
Yeah.
Oh, they know the ropes in chat. They're already starting. Here we go.
Yeah.
Rachel says, "Good night, everyone."
Oh, the Beverly Hillbillies was another good one, too.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Ellie Mae and her cooking.
Oh, yeah.
American Bandstand was good too.
Yeah. Those were the good old days.
Designing Women. Yes, that was a good one.
See what we talk about over here, guys? We don't talk about y'all. You just think we do, but we really don't.
Yeah.
You're on the bottom of our list of discussion most of the time.
We would rather talk about planners warts than.
Yeah. You notice when I said hi to you and to the Bobs, I said "and weirdos" because that's what they
I
are.
like that.
Bunch of
I saw that.
weirdos, man. I'm
We
telling
love
you.
talking about finding our earrings in our bras.
I know. I told you. That's where I found one of mine. Yep.
That's
That was a
funny.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cement pond, remember?
Oh, yes.
And the critters.
And the banker's wife just couldn't handle them living next door.
Oh, I loved her. What was her name?
Yeah. I can't remember, but his name was Melbourne, wasn't it? Or,
it was Miss something. Miss oh, what was her name? She was a great actress.
I don't know, but she'd get a sick headache every time they got to doing much anything.
Yes.
And you remember he'd take her over there, the banker, he'd want her to eat. She's, no, I'm not eating that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And Granny was always like, well, why not? It's got toad lips and whatever. She'd always have some weird ingredients.
Baked possum and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mrs. Drysdale. That's it.
Yes, Drysdale.
Yeah, she was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the Brady Bunch is a whole nother live chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's see. I'll go ahead and play our theme song and say goodnight. Thank you so much for hopping right up, Paula.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thanks everybody for coming in all the time and being here and keeping it going like we like to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone have a safe week and try to stay away from the bullshit because man, it's our energy is precious. We just don't need to waste it on the bullshit people.
Right.
We just don't.
But every once in a while we have to strike out though. They just won't stop.
Well, I think it's important.
Stand our ground. Stand our ground.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it because, there's just too much bullshit flying for too many years. We're done. We're done. We're not impressed. We see through it enough already.
They don't scare me. I don't think they scare anybody like they think.
Exactly.
Nice try. Anyway.
And how could they? How could they with how they act? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So on that note, let's go ahead and say goodnight. Everybody be safe. Be healthy. Don't forget to take your vitamin D if you're taking vitamin D or otherwise getting the sunshine and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And always know that you are loved.
Yeah. And maybe you can find out how to do Patreon.
Yes, that is a goal. It's a definite goal.
That'll be a good one. Okay, everybody. Good night. Good night, MMM. See you later.
Good night, Star.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display, 'cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'd never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you do. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do whatever I please. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go